Hello! Welcome to Fight for What You Believe, a Burning Wheel game. This is an actual play live stream set in the world of Castile, created by the four of us using the Quiet Year. This is our finale night of the season, the short little season that we've been working on. Fight for What You Believe is a show about compelling characters, what they believe in, and the vibrant world that we've created for them. Castile is a rich land with intrigue, large beast companions called the Kin, and many powerful locations like the Ivory Tower, the volcano, and many more. Previously, we had just finished a trial to determine who was responsible for a terrible arcane storm that had struck Castile. And it turns out it was Tenna's fault, according to consensus from that trial. After that, it was recently announced that there was no more leadership running Castile, so there was time for an election. And each of the players ended up on the roster as nominees for potential options to vote for. And we were essentially left off right there to jump into an election. First thing that we do is introductions. My name is Corey. My pronouns are he, they. I will pass it off to Maria next. If you want to introduce yourself and your character a bit, please.
Hello, I'm Maria. I'm at Happy Caps are all over the place. I use she, they pronouns. And Robin Weir, who is a rebel in all the best ways, as well as an arson, almost, uses she, her pronouns, and should totally be the next person in charge of this whole entire place.
Awesome. Taryn, do you want to go next?
I definitely can. Let's see. Who am I? I'm Taryn, as you said. I use he, him pronouns, and I am also playing Speaker Dwin, or Reginald Wenzy, depending on who you ask. Specifically, our DM. But yeah, so he also uses he, him pronouns.
I've got my cheat sheet ready to go. Sweet. Lastly, Zach, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
I can do that, I suppose. Yeah, I'm Zach, he, him pronouns. I'll be playing Lord Reginald Wenzy, and I'm here for your vote. Can be bought. Drop it in chat what your price is.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Tall Skull, for the raid. That's fantastic. Thanks for joining us for our finale night. So what we've got to do with all of our Burning Wheel sessions is we're going to take a look at our beliefs. So I'll give you players a second to sort of open up your beliefs and get your character sheets ready. But what we're going to do is we'll go through our beliefs, sort of think about what we want them to be for this session, chat about them a bit. This is important for me because I'm going to make notes of them and essentially use them during the session to plan some things, little itty bitty things. No worries. Is anyone interested to start off with their beliefs and kick us off from there?
I can.
Yay! Sure.
Sure.
I may have been in a different place. Are we changing any of our beliefs this session? I assume we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anything, like, you could rewrite them all if we really want. We've got some time, so, you know.
Yeah, especially if you resolved any last time, which I think you probably did at least one.
Yeah, and since this is our last session, I would sort of like vaguely suggest to the group that if you can write a belief that's going to finish up in this session, just as an option. Doesn't have to be the
Get
case.
all that Artha.
Yeah.
Get it all. Okay. Well, starting off with the beliefs I have at the moment, the one that I know that I am not going to change is the politics of this land are petty. No one can see the logic around them. I will show them their wrongness.
Nice.
Not necessarily a great way to win people over. I'm going to change that since I'm going to alter it slightly. Instead of trying to show them their wrongness, I will show them how to change.
Sure. as we're doing this too, if you've got any that you want like more time to think on, I think we'll do the same thing where we do a second pass and give everyone a bit of extra time.
Sure. Going in like reverse order. Castile is dying from the inside. It's not worth saving, and I must make sure everyone knows. I'm trying to think of how to change that in a. I don't know if I want to change that one actually, because I think that's definitely something that she has come to really believe, is that this version of Castile needs to not be, and however, like she needs to try to convince people that this is in fact how it is from an outside perspective, from a logical perspective.
Yeah. Is there something that I'm just wondering if there's like a one little bit at the end that could be added as like an immediate thing that you want to do about it? If not, that's fine. Like it's totally, I think it's a great belief, but I'm just wondering if there's a specific action that you're interested in taking on that.
Maybe. I think that's one I might have to think on a little bit.
Yeah, and just an idea. Don't take it if you're not interested.
Yeah. There's power in this weapon. The gun. It belongs to me. I will use it if necessary. I don't know if pulling a gun during a voting scenario
Look, it's the finale. All rules are out the window.
is necessarily the best option. But I don't know. I still kind of want to leave that one on the table because I feel like it is a good like well, everything has gone wrong. Let's just gun now.
Yep.
You know, if they change their mind and they think, oh well, maybe you should go in jail, I'll be like, but how about gun? But how about?
How about that?
I'm glad I'm not the only one who has a like backup plan that's a little
a little violent.
Suspect, we'll say. It's maybe the polite way to put it.
And then Tenna shouldn't defend a city. I must convince her to leave. I feel like that one no longer applies, considering that Tenna has more or less been
banished for 6 months of the year.
Banished. So
it's up to you. You could definitely like tweak it a bit if you like the idea of it. Another thing is, I'm just thinking out loud, we'll probably get through the election in the first half of this game. So if you want like something that informs what you want the like conclusion to be, that's an idea. I was also thinking just out loud here, if we finish early, we could do like a post-game sort of quick Q&A if we...
I have one, and this is a the players know but the characters don't.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the belief, and I was actually thinking about this earlier today / yesterday. The belief is something along the lines of, I do not want this position. I will win and give it to someone who I think is worthy.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to be able to choose.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think that fits in pretty good.
So more specifically, I want to win, not so I can rule, but so I can choose who rules.
Yeah.
And I think the third one, I feel like the Castile is dying one is kind of is I can almost combine that one with the last one, the one that's part of like my zealotry. Because I think it would make more sense to say Castile is dying from the inside is not worth saving. I will show them how to change. I think that's a nice, like, succinct thing that kind of encapsulates like what she's been striving for since she like took over with Tenna, you know?
Yeah.
Which means I have an empty one now, so I will think
Okay, I like
for a
it.
bit.
Yeah. Zach or Taryn, are you ready to go for your beliefs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
So the first one was previously, I think it got pretty much finished up, was about determining through the guilty party, through the ancestors, and the trial. That kind of, I think, I'll move the church forward by helping put in power someone that will benefit the church.
Okay, yeah.
Putting someone beneficial in charge.
Yeah. Beneficial as in like as the leader or yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, whether it be me or someone who's going to help the church move forward. I don't want to specifically say myself because that's not really my play here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I gotcha.
So. Kind of think the second one, because a lot of my second belief has been about converting Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Curious how that. I almost want to place that as like an if-then statement on the off chance that Robin or whoever they put in place wins. That something along the lines of it will run away with my love. And I will try to convince them to run away with me if things go poorly.
Everyone's looking for an out.
Yep, everyone's got their backup plan, and I love it. Yeah, I think that's actually really good.
Okay. Belief 3, I think, still stands. I believe that the Church of the Ancestors is the only true way forward for Castile.
Yeah. For that second one, though, I just had a quick question. Why does Dwin want to do that? Like, maybe it's obvious, but...
Well, I think if things go poorly, i.e. there's no beneficial way for the church, because Robin's not really a religious person,
yeah,
that it's not really going to be great to be around for a while. So, and Dwin has traveled a lot. He knows how to handle himself on the road. Like,
okay, yeah,
he will get lost, but
yeah,
But then, the third one's still kind of the same. So,
nice.
That belief hasn't really changed.
Yeah, that's kind of your core belief. Cool. Are you good to go on beliefs, or do we want to hop over to Zach? That looks like a good to go. Zach, do you want to go next?
I will do my best.
Cool.
Let's see. So my first one used to be the one about the trial, so that's kind of done with and was resolved. The first one that I had written up to replace that is, I am the rightful leader of Castile. If any takes this position from me, I will make it their undoing. Just to get right to the heart of it, I guess.
I love it.
Just like as a backup plan, like, I would like to win the election, but unless.
Yeah.
The second one I used to have the one about becoming the kin militia leader, and that seems... We'll see if that needs to come back, but for now, I rewrote it. It was Octavia that was like clearly stated that she was the one that nominated me for this, correct?
Yeah, it was essentially what she said led to the nomination.
Okay, yeah. I was just making sure that was like for sure, like a thing I knew. So for my second one, I replaced that with, I do not trust Octavia's motives for nominating me in this election. I must find out what she's up to.
So
that was a
rich.
little backhanded.
Yeah.
Because our last interaction was a little tense. She seemed to not like me much.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then I still have this one about Dwyn and using him to turn the religions of Castile against Octavia. I don't know how necessarily useful that one is, but I can't think of what to replace it with. And I also now have another one about Octavia, so it seems weird to have two that are mad at her.
Well, I mean, being really mad at someone in this game is a thing, so that's always an option.
Yeah.
If you want a bit of time to think on it, or we could do some like discussion and figure some other ideas out if you're interested. It's up to you.
Yeah, I like the one. Like, I like it being tied into, like, Dwyn and whatever. At least somewhat knowledge of each other. I don't know if it's a friendship or a working relationship of some sort. Whatever this thing is that we've figured out and started summoning spirits. I like that it's something that connects me to him, but I don't know what a different one would be. Probably something similar.
Maybe
like,
something to do with the city as a whole. Like,
yeah, more like using you to consolidate power or something like that.
yeah, I think that would definitely make sense with what I've got planning.
I will use maybe Dwyn's place with the religions of Castile. Yeah, something. I'll work on a wording while we circle back around, but something about like
Yeah,
using Dwyn to get power.
nice.
I know that I'm using people to get power, and that's what all these are about. We'll
Nice.
find out a better wording for it later.
Okay, sweet. So this go around, we can revisit any ones that we were working on, but also let's go through our instincts and traits really quickly just to remind the group what they are. Maria, are you good to go for Robin, or what? Where are you at?
I am stuck.
Okay.
I can't, because I'm trying to think about Robin is thinking about Tenna again, which means that I'm thinking about Tenna again. Because essentially Robin's revenge quest kind of ended in Robin's mind.
Yeah.
As soon as like a thing, as soon as Tenna was taken out of this place of power or this position of power, Robin was like, okay,
Mhm.
you know. And I kind of want much like Speaker Dwyn, the idea of like essentially joining Tenna in like just leaving with them if they so choose and starting a life elsewhere,
Mm-hmm.
like on a spooky island or in a volcano or something.
Yeah, I do like the sound of that a lot. It's sort of like you're maybe trying to write a belief about like the sunset goes down. What does that look like? What's the sort of like last scene kind of?
Mm-hmm.
It is okay too to have like totally conflicting beliefs and just say, at the end of the day, I want to go with Tenna away. Right?
Yeah, regardless of what happens. Yeah.
And it can always be like partway through the session, you're like, oh, things have changed. I've got to focus on these other ones because, yeah.
Okay, I put down, I want to join Tenna and start a new life together away from Castile. Simple.
I like it.
Yeah, it's the
Nice.
only one that's simple here. Simple. You know.
Yeah, that's good because I have a potential scene that's gonna be about that. And
Oh, good. I'm glad you planned for this.
do you want to quickly give us a run through of your instincts and traits, please?
Yeah. So instincts, always keep the weapon secret and available. Never be alone with another person, which I feel like I feel like that might change because it was mostly an idea of not feeling like anyone trusted her and feeling like betrayed all the time, and then specifically in like this small window there are people who are defending her in a way, and someone who believes in her enough to nominate her for this like thing. She doesn't necessarily want it, but it's in this instance, it's the thought that counts. So I don't know if changing instincts is a thing.
It can be.
I think that one would change.
Yeah, you could change it, like adjust it if you're like, it's not quite right, but it's close, and you want to keep the essence of it. But yeah, instincts can change too. Yeah.
Okay.
Never be alone with another person except those I trust.
Yeah,
Maybe?
I was thinking something like that. Yeah. I think that's
Maybe.
that's. I'll put it down for now.
Sure. Feel free to like reword it, change it, totally
Yeah.
redo it as the session goes too.
Yeah. And then the third one, if someone spouts political jargon, then I can found them with logic.
Yeah.
That one's still pretty good. As far as traits, we have the town traits of gossips, curious, devout. Those are all things.
Yep.
Devout to different things than most other people, but I am still devout to something.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the skinny trait from just not too much self-care. Cramped hands, again, from not so much self-care. And also the zealot, who I believe in lots of logic. And the most average normal one, the catalyst, which if I do stuff to stir up trouble, I get extra points and stuff.
Yeah.
I win.
That's the win condition.
That is the win condition.
Sweet. Do we want to hop back over to Dwin?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on beliefs. So, why did I close my character sheet?
Do you want to?
Instincts, yes. Always dream before making big decisions. Don't think I'm gonna get the opportunity this session because the selection is gonna happen right away. Maybe if some other stuff comes
Quick
up.
nap during the recess.
Yeah. Can we pause?
Quick 15.
Second instinct, if someone questions the ancestors, I can't help but educate them. And number 3, never ask for directions. Traits, devout, curious, gossip, and disturbed. And then my die traits, believer, just face stuff, dreamer is the thing that has helped us see some relevant things during some sessions. Lost, I suck at finding the right path. Touch of ages, I can read objects. And well traveled, basically it helps me get a new domain and becomes a character trait. So I've been a lot of places because I don't know how to get back.
Yeah. Sweet.
So.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Zach, do you want to give us a run through of Lord Wednesday now?
Yes. All right. Yeah, like I said, the first two are still the same. I am the rightful leader of Castile. If any takes this position from me, I will make it their undoing. I do not trust Octavia's motives for nominating me in this election. I must find out what she is up to. And then the third one, I think I kind of settled on something of I will use Dwin's poll with the religions of Castile to gain their endorsement for leader.
Sweet. Do you want to go through the instincts and traits and share those with
Yes.
us?
Instincts, I never show up to a meeting unprepared. Always make sure others know my status. And never leave Delilah alone for more than a day. My precious companion animal. Traits. Your lordship is really my only unique character trait. Then curious, devout, and gossip, as everyone has in Castile, because good people. Die traits, mark of privilege, and scheming. Then no call on traits. So
Sweet.
I think that's about it.
Nice. Awesome. With that, I think we're set on where to go from here. And we just had the election called, and as players we can figure out what scenes we want to do. We've got a recess where everyone has a bit of time to talk, chat, scheme, gossip, be devout about things. We can maybe figure out what everyone wants to do with their recess, and then 1, 2, 3 do those, and we will after that have a nice vote where the viewer audience gets to pick out of the nominees. So the first one that I'll probably toss out is Tenna definitely wants to talk to Robin.
How interesting. Because I definitely want to talk to Tenna.
Okay. So that one's probably on the table. For Dwin and Wenzi, do we have any specific things? Like, there's Ash and Octavia that they could go talk to. They could do something else. Pretty open.
I want to talk to Wenzi and Ash, actually. Separately, but...
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I directly confront Octavia or if I try and like get information out of someone else in the Kin Militia, try and circles them into existence and figure out if they know anything.
I think those all make sense.
Yeah. And yeah, I would probably also, as per my other belief about trying to get the religions on my side, would also probably want to talk to Dwayne as well, so that works out for me.
Yeah. Okay. I think those are like all great starting candidates. Does anyone feel like going first for a particular thing? I don't think there's anything. I was going to suggest maybe Dwin and Wenzi to start out with.
All right. I'm here for it.
Cool. So feel free to set the scene a bit, but I'm just imagining this is like a private space within the Ivory Tower, maybe like a room down the hall or something like that. There's a bunch of people moving around getting ready to vote. Yeah.
I think before we even leave the courtroom, there's like an eyes lock moment. Like,
yeah, I think
we're
I
gonna
like
talk.
find both of those two, and Dwayne's the one I lock eyes with first, and we're like, all right, you and I are gonna square this away, and then I'll.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, and
so-
then we just like hightail it out of there to somewhere like at least semi-private.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and you find a private room and are able to have a moment to chat for a bit.
So,
Yes. So
yeah.
I just want to do like a how about that election?
Yeah.
Um,
So you want this power, I'm guessing?
well, I don't want to be too eager about it, but be nice.
That fits your motives. Yes.
I don't know what you mean by that, but
It was a question. It was
Oh,
merely
yeah.
just a... Sorry, I didn't inflect enough on the end of that.
if it's your motives. Yes, well, of course. I think we all want to see ourselves in power and as decision makers and steer the world in the direction we would like.
I do not necessarily see myself as the head. As flattered as I am that someone put me forward, I do not see my place as the face of Castile.
Where do you see yourself in Castile?
I merely wish to lead the people as a whole back to the ancestors.
Yes, you do seem to have a fairly strong link with them, as we've seen repeatedly in recent days.
They've blessed me with some guidance, yes, and I believe that is directly connected to their desire to see Castile honor them more so than passing days.
And what do the ancestors want out of the direction of Castile beyond honoring them? What direction do they see Castile going in? Since you so clearly are tapped into their divine power.
Not quite sure I understand your line of questioning yet.
Well, as a representative of the ancestors, what do you believe would be best for Castile in
Obviously,
this coming election?
in this coming election is a much finer thread or finer needle to thread.
Mm-hmm.
I think those that have aligned themselves with past current leadership and don't feel that, whether it be the Church of the Ancestors or the Kinfolk, they don't see those as viable paths of life, and that is wrong.
You can say, Robin, there's only 3 of us up for this election.
Yes, Robin. I feel like Robin's the wrong choice. Which
And you say
puts
you,
you as the right choice.
Yes, you say you don't see yourself as leader.
No, I plan to, when it comes my time to talk, to expound your values and dissuade what I can from people voting for Robin.
Mm-hmm. And in exchange for that, you are seeking
just a return in the prominence of the church within the militia.
Yes, you expressed a desire for someone to be some sort of advisor to the throne. Throne? I don't know if throne is here. The elected throne.
Yes. I'd wish to see us have representatives in multiple places, just so that when decisions come to be made, that those with power consult not just those around them, but those that have come before them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, I would say that if fortune so happens, or if maybe fortune's not the right word, if the ancestors so will it, and I am to take power, I suppose I could see to that you and the Church of the Ancestors have a place at the table, so to speak.
That would be most beneficial. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, do the two of you just like you agree and you're good to go, or is there any like?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, if there's like any wiggle room around exactly what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, like, I would not like to answer to him, especially. It's probably the like I would. We are quid pro quoing, but like whatever little I can make him actually force me to do if I become the leader is probably what I would want, and then opposite for him.
Yeah.
So it'd maybe be like on the specifics of what that is, since we were a little vague. It'd be if there's anything to roll about it.
Right. That makes sense. That might be a future role potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could push that off on like, depending on how that.
That's an epilogue. That's an epilogue scenario.
Yeah, that's the montage at the end of Wenzi delegating, and then we zoom out and it's Dwin there by his side, like ancestors.
Pretty much.
But for now, I think we each got what we wanted out of that.
Sorry,
Yep.
I was muted. Okay, I think that's good. Do we want to hop over to Tenna and Robin, and then we can bounce back to Octavia and Ash? Cool. I'm gonna switch over to that pistol music.
Oh no, they're both playing. Hang on, I got it. I got you.
Thank you. Okay, so we can have a quick chat about what the scene looks like for Tenna and Robin, but I'm imagining what Tenna wants to do is like find a spot and pull Robin in, which might be kind of tough to do because you sort of have the advantage, like you're the nominee, you won the trial. What's Robin's angle or approach or interest in this?
Um. Well, I think because everything happened in such quick succession, it was like, oh, here's this pronouncement, and then also, hey, guess what? You're gonna be maybe the ruler of Castile, and though she wanted, like kind of like I said last time, though she wanted Tenna like out of the position of power, Robin kind of feels that perhaps banishment's a little much. So I think after, recess has been officially called, she would have been like, as Wenzy's trying to like make eyes towards the two of us, I don't see him at all because I'm like immediately like looking over towards her to see like, what's going on. Oh, thanks for the raid, other dog.
Hey, thank you.
Hello, welcome. There's politics happening. Stick around for the vote.
Enjoy the intrigue.
Enjoy politics and such. And then I think if she noticed that Tenna is like actively, looking towards her and looks like,
Yep.
She wants to discuss something, which is opposite of exactly how she entered this courtroom scene. Yeah, I think that she would go. She would just, if able, just go.
Yeah. There's enough rooms. Like, this place is super stuffy, books everywhere, and everyone's got their own little office.
Now that I don't have a personal bodyguard anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
You know that.
Well,
If you're the ruler, then can make that decision.
my own bodyguard.
Okay, so yeah, definitely find their own room. As soon as I imagine Robin comes in, closes the door, or
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
okay. Tenna is immediately going to open with, "We can go. Let's go right now."
What?
You were right when we talked last night. This Castile has... When I am in Castile, I am not who I want to be. And we can just grab our bags and go away from here and not be any of what's happened here. We can be ourselves and we can just go.
I instantly was like, can I make an insight check? That's not Burning Wheel. This is not Burning Wheel. I'm gonna, yeah, Robin just kind of puts up her hands and is just like, okay, calm down. A lot has happened in the last few minutes. I appreciate the sudden change of opinion. Why now?
You don't want to win this election.
Well, no. And yes.
No. There is only you don't want to win this election. This is not... It's not good. Leading Castile.
Why?
Tenna... She tries to speak. She, like, opens her mouth and just sort of, like, keeps stopping every time she tries to talk. And she says, it's not good. And we can just go. You're right, this place is poison. And the only way to stop it is to get out. And we can do that in the chaos. Is this a tricky position to be
It
in?
so is. It so is. It's everything that Robin ever wanted, and yet now she has an opportunity to make things like kind of right. And it's so oh no. One would say that Robin's at a crossroads. A very, very oh no. It's super why did I rephrase my beliefs the way that I did? Oh no. Because they're diametrically opposed now. This is not great. Why did I do this to myself? Are there chairs? Is there a place where we can sit? Because I assume you've just been like standing by the door.
I really thought you were going to ask, are there other options?
Are there other
Option C. Let me win the selection first. Just give up the power, and then...
Here's the thing. Option C, talk. Are there places to sit?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I would like to go up to Tenna and kind of reach to take one or both of her hands if she lets me.
Yep, she will.
And kind of lead her over gently to where there's a place to sit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sit next to her and not really let go of her hands. And look at her and say, this is everything that I wanted you to say. I wanted you to want to be with me. This is the hardest thing that you have ever made me choose to do. Because I don't know if I can leave right now. I want to win so that I can leave. And I can leave someone here who I choose who can fix what's wrong. Because we both see what's wrong. But we're both too close to it to do anything about it. We need someone else, someone who wasn't there at the beginning. And then I want to leave. I want to leave with you and go travel, maybe go see new and scary places. We can take care of each other, right?
Tenna says, once the nomination, once that nomination, and she starts getting really frustrated, like there's a lot of pent up emotions, and she gives it one more shot, and she says, once the nomination, and she breaks down and she starts crying, face into your lap, and is just like
I just kind of hold her and I brush the back of her head and I tell her, you know, that it's okay. I just kind of let her cry.
This goes on for a bit. Like this is a big cry.
This is a lot. This has been years. Yeah, I don't interrupt. I don't try to stop her or anything. If anybody comes in here, I'm really tempted to pull a gun on them, but I don't.
Eventually she calms down and composes herself a bit. She grabs like a book nearby and she throws it against the wall and she says, "This place is poison, and We can go. We can go. Right now. Winning. There is no you can't win in Castile. I think she's getting she's hitting a brick wall in her emotional space, and I think she wants to leave soon. Is there more that Robin wants to try and get out, or is there an intent that you're trying to sort of make happen, or?
My intention, not knowing that she was so gung ho to leave, my intention has kind of shifted to explaining hey, you really can we just go together? Has kind of shifted from that to trying to console her and assure her that we will go. But I want to try one more time.
Sure. This sounds like a role for Tana. For you to influence Tana. For you, yeah.
Okay. Oh, jeez. Oh, no. Okay.
Let's see.
Maybe use all that art that you've been building up.
You know? Yup.
Where's the skill for consoling your partner?
Well, is it it's sort of a persuasion, right? They're arguing about terms of what they want. They're kind of on the same page, but
Yeah.
Robin is yes, but hold on, just
Yeah.
got an election to win real quick.
Yeah.
That's my first guess.
You don't have that skill.
Well, I mean, or it's maybe one of the other rhetorics or whatever. Whichever one it is you have, oratory, I want to say.
Well, oratory is
That's more
crowd.
speech, right?
that's more practice.
That one later, then.
Speech. That one later.
We did one time do a will versus will, but I don't know if that's quite as applicable because Tana isn't it's not two people contesting. It's just whether or not Tana gets influenced.
I just don't want her to leave before I leave. I don't want her to disappear, you guys.
It could be ugly truth,
I'm learning that skill.
which you're learning. So there's maybe some.
Yeah, I
there.
could see it being
Well, I
ugly truth.
Yeah, I could argue that because it's essentially me agreeing. Yeah, this is a poisonous place and it's done terrible things. But there's a chance. There's always a chance. And I guess that's kind of what I'll tack on to the end of it is, saying that I was given another chance. And I think someone, and I'll maybe pointedly stare at her, has given me another chance. And as much as I greatly dislike this place and these people that are here, maybe they can change.
Okay. Yeah. And the ugly truth here is that they could change.
Yeah.
Because no one here typically believes that, so...
No.
Yeah, and that it's Robin's duty to do something about it, I think is the other part of it, maybe. That she owes it to everyone is kind of the maybe other part of it.
Cool. Does that sound good with you, Maria, for an ugly truth roll? Okay.
Ah.
So, ugly truth is... I've got the same question. Is this an ugly truth about family and it's kind of not going that direction? Or is it an ugly truth about a complex political situation? I could even go down one ob from the complex political situation and say that this is just like a well understood political situation potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely it's definitely slightly politically, well, only politically rooted in that I want to use politics to try to fix all of this garbage. But it's mostly like at its root trying to like remind these people that, hey, you suck and you need to change, otherwise you're gonna just implode.
That could potentially even be, I'm just thinking at page 306, the first one is stating the obvious worst possible outcome, if that's like what you're trying to get it down to.
That's kind of what the core of what she's trying to do. Like, it's kind of shifted. Instead of like just telling people, hey, you're wrong, it's kind of shifted a little bit. I think with meeting people like Lord Wenzi, and even to an extent Speaker Dwin, who aren't just like, from what she's seen, following just this noise of, you know, like following the crowd in a certain way. She's at least seen like a bit of glimmer of hope, which she hasn't seen in a very long time, since like she and Tenna overthrew everything the first time. So yeah, that's kind of like what her deep down desire is, just to like tell people, hey, you can change and you really need to, or else you could destroy everything that we worked so hard to build. You know.
Okay, I'd be cool with saying that you're trying to state the obvious worst possible outcome, which is, in this case, an actual doable role. The complex political situation one is odd 4, which doubles to 8. So, okay. There is one difficulty that's going to add one complication to this for when we roll a dice. I'm going to keep, that's one of Tenna's secrets, so I won't say what it is, but
secrets.
She has a very tough time.
Okay. All right. I don't have any extra modifiers, I don't believe, unless
you could argue for some.
Unless.
Okay,
thank you. Okay. What was I looking at? God. There's so many things on these character sheets, everyone. Okay.
It's true.
There it is. Okay.
Were you looking for the gun?
No, I wasn't looking for the gun, but thank you for thank you. Okay, remind me again, how do I gain?
An advantage is something that you just sort of like petition for. It doesn't have to be any mechanical things. It just has to sort of be like, I think this is really important here, and that's worth a dice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer?
Yeah. I can't really think of anything that would necessarily like give me free bonuses.
The one thing that you're potentially able to get a bonus out is that you have said we'll leave eventually.
Yeah, there is the bit of like, I'm giving you what you want, just like
just wait.
at a cost.
Yeah, and that kind of lines up with the new belief that I made, which is I want to join Tenna and start a new life together away from Castile.
Mm-hmm.
So I will take that positive modifier, thank you. It'll counteract her complication that she's gonna give me.
Yep. Nice.
Okay. I'm not. Oh no, but am I? Oh no. I'm gonna use my 1 persona point
Okay.
to get an extra dice on this.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, there's so many windows. Okay. And then base ob is 1.
Yep.
Right?
And 1.
And then additional complication 1.
Additional. Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no.
Yeah, like
We call
literally
it
how?
ouch.
Oh no.
That is not good, my friend.
That's the
Compared to
ugliest
my
truth I've ever
oratory
seen.
Roll. Look at my oratory roll right before it from last week. Oh no.
Mm-hmm. Ouch.
I had so many dice, everyone. I had so many.
Yeah, you rolled like 6,
I
right?
rolled 6 of them, and only one of them did a thing. Why?
Oh.
Oh
Corey, I can't believe you did this.
no. Could you not, though?
This is
How
like
dare
making
you,
me-
Corey?
It's making me turn
All right.
red.
Have you considered not, though?
Oh, I'm gonna have to
No,
turn
I'm
my
getting
Wow.
phone.
emotional. Oh no, this is bad.
No.
Oh no.
How dare you hurt her character in this specific way that is set up from the beginning?
How dare we dig ourselves into this very clear and very obvious trap?
Well,
It's
you
just the
can
Eric
mark,
Andre show meme. I can't believe you did this.
you can mark the test.
Hey, well, I can do that. How many do I need before it's really mine?
I think you need 6 for that skill. It depends on how good you are. at
Okay, is it in
perception.
the little bubble on the right?
Yeah, it's that. Yeah. Yeah.
It is 6. I'm halfway there, you all. Maybe by the end I'll have learned one thing. I just tried to learn everything. Oh, Emma, doing the
don't
Lord's
know.
work.
Emma.
Doing the Lord's work.
Oh no!
How have you considered? Just
Directly
hang
to the heart.
on. Oh
Just from downtown, just like the ugliest truth clip.
no. Oh no, you are doing the Void's work.
The void's work indeed.
The dark and terrible work of the Void.
Oh, what an oof. Okay, so I guess that's
How
probably
does that go?
that's. I think that's probably the scene insofar as like it ends there, but Tenna isn't impacted. In like, hold on, we'll go later. And I think that's the bulk of the effect that we immediately see. But I know what's gonna happen very soon.
I just want her to be happy. Ah. No, no. We're good. We're good.
Do we want to hop over to Ash or Octavia next?
I hope your all's relationships go well and you get exactly what you try to get.
Oh, I'm good for either. So whoever speaks first gets it. Zach, I see you unmuted.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out if like I directly confront her or if I think I kind of want to like see if I can figure out if someone knows what's up because she's not going to tell me.
Maybe get her assistant off to the side.
Yeah, I want to like try and conjure somebody up that knows something, like another high-ranking official or like, yeah, she has some sort of like attendant type person, like some
Yeah.
whatever the equivalent of interns are in the Dino Cavalry.
Yeah. So this is a circle
Squire,
roll.
maybe.
Yeah, like yeah, she has a squire basically is what I'm asking, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't used circles yet, but I think this is a cool
I know
opportunity.
that was gonna be fun
Yeah.
if I knew how they worked better.
I think I've got the gist of it if I can find that actual chapter that they're in. Oh, there they are. 370.
Yeah, I mean, I assume it's pretty similar to anything else, just based on my circle's skill, whatever number that is.
Yeah, there's a few like questions we ask.
Okay.
Let's go to the circles. So the first thing for a circles test, and we'll sort of explain this for the viewer audience as well, is first they have to be from a setting that you're from. This one's obvious because it's from the Kin Militia, so I think we're good there. And then the obstacles. So the first question we ask is, it starts at Ob 1, so super easy to begin with. The first thing we have to figure out is, who are you looking for? Name a role. So you want like an intern?
Yeah, like if she had some sort of squire or somebody that would be in the know about whatever she's scheming on.
Okay, an associate.
Some
of
sort of attendant or like...
Yeah. Okay, so that probably fits under the... I'm looking at page 380 for this. That probably
I just got there finally.
Yeah. The broad occupation or same life path, so that doesn't make it more difficult. I think you're good to go on that. The next question is station. Are they the same station that you're in, or higher, lower?
I mean, they maybe be lower.
Okay, so you have a bit of clout as far as how this discussion goes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, unless it's +1 ob, like it says right here.
Yeah, it's going to be +1 ob. The other part, and I think this is the kicker, is the disposition or character knowledge that this person is going to have. So either common to the circle, probably not the case. The other one is a specific disposition or knowledge different from the members of the circle, like specific knowledge about Octavia in this case, which I think is probably one more ob.
Yeah, at least one, right? Because like I'm asking for someone who to conjure somebody up that not only like works with her closely, but would also like be in the know about what's going on here.
Yeah, I'll say one ob
not
for
just
that.
like anyone. Yeah.
Okay, so lower rank and knows stuff. That's very good. And then we figure out how many dice you've got. So it starts out with 2, and then if you have reputations or affiliations, we can...
I do have a +1 with Kin Militia affiliation.
Definitely. So that'll bring you up to 3. Is there any advantages that you want?
I'm trying to think. I don't know what that would be unless there's like, if we already knew about someone that was like, didn't like her very much, that'd be one thing, but like,
Right.
I can't think of anything specifically unless there are some like Wednesday apologists out there that that love me and
Right.
want to help out.
Okay, so I think that'll have no advantage dice. So you'll be rolling with 3. The obstacle is 3. And we can do that.
Now, which is it Fate or Persona that is +1 die?
Persona's +1 dice, and you can spend up to 3, so you could use both 2 right now that you have if you want.
I feel like I want to hold on to at least one of those. I might use one though. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I will.
Cool.
R.I.P. All right, so let's see. So I'm rolling modifiers. That'd be 2. Well, no, I have to put Arthur in a separate thing, right?
Yeah, Arthur goes in a different one because it'll do some stuff in the background.
Okay, so modifier 1 for the Kin Militia affiliation. Artha is 1.
Yep.
Base ob 3, you said?
Yep.
Rip.
You do have a 6.
I know. I really... How many... 3 fates? Yeah, I'm gonna use one of the fates.
Okay.
So I'll just do a d6 quick. If I can find it.
Hey, and you can keep rolling on that 6.
Sure. I don't know if it helps me anymore to roll past on circles, does it?
I was just going to check that. I don't think it does. Let's assume not. because I don't
Yeah,
remember
let's just
anything.
skip past. It's not worth it. Like, I got what I wanted, so.
Okay. You get 1 extra dice to relocate them in the future.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
like, if I were to say, like, I want this person to narc information to me about Octavia again, I get
Yeah.
+1 to summon them up again.
Yep.
Nice.
Cool. Sweet. So you can mark that difficult circles test.
Oh, that was difficult.
And then you find this person who is lower ranked than you, has some knowledge about Octavia. Let's leave them nameless for now, just because I don't think that's immediately important. And do you find them do you pull them aside? Is this like just in the room, or?
Yeah, I think I like. Maybe they're like milling about outside as I get back from talking with Dwyn, and I like peel off from him, and I like grab this person, like as if it were like a spur of the moment idea, just like I wonder. And I like just pull them aside, like do a head nod, and like pull them down to a separate hallway or something.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
And they agree because I circled well enough.
Yep. Awesome. Cool. They come in. They sort of have a bit of a curious look on them, and they're like, "Oh, one of the nominees." Yes.
I want them to have a name because I'm like I imagine Wenzi would for sure. It doesn't actually matter, but like he's for sure like does the how to win friends and influence people thing where he like says their name a bunch, and it's just like it's like, hey, Dave, do you Dave have any information about like, but they don't actually have to have a name, but like he does probably that shtick.
I'm already googling the fantasy name generator.
It's got to be something like Braun Dundrake. Like they're for sure like somebody like they're not actually that strong and beefy, but like they for sure have a name like that because they're trying to be on the up and up.
Yeah. Ooh, there's a dinosaur name generator here. Okay. Let's say that their name is Reuven.
Reuben or Reuven with
Reuven with a V.
Are you okay? Cool.
Their pronouns are going to be
Reuven sandwich.
Yeah, like a Reuven sandwich. Yeah.
Their pronouns are going to be they them.
They them. Okay. Yeah. So I pull them aside and I'm like, yes, Reuven, is it correct you are the squire to Octavia?
Yes. You're Lord Wenzi.
Yeah. So you have
presented
heard of me
recently.
Yes. I did have a question. Since Octavia did so kindly, as you saw, nominate me to the election, that was a little unexpected. She and I did have, well, things have been tense between us. I was just wondering if you happen to know why the change of heart on her part. Had you heard anything from her on?
Yes.
I assume you're gonna make me persuade Reuven, or something to that effect.
Yes, but I'm thinking like you did successfully circles them, so they are friendly.
I found
to
someone
you.
that for sure has that knowledge, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's it. Like,
They definitely have it, but they have a disposition towards you.
true. Yeah, I guess that was something we went over, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll probably be advantage dice as we're going forward.
Should it be like, yeah, I get a +1 of some sort or something?
I think so.
I'm trying to think of if there's one of these that I've already started. I think I started on persuasion and maybe interrogate, but
Sorry, I was bouncing on your character sheet for a second. And...
yeah.
Persuasion is pretty on point. The other one is it could be interrogation, like you're looking for specific information from a lower rank.
Yeah, it feels like more interrogation, right? Like, I'm specifically like questioning them,
Yeah.
trying to get information rather than like try to get them to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, I have started working on persuasion, but it does make more sense that it's interrogation. Unless I get out my sword, could it be sword, or could I at least fork sword into this?
Wait.
No.
You can't fork on learning, unfortunately.
Oh,
Which
that's
is-
right.
Yeah. Sad.
Otherwise, like etiquette would almost actually make sense. All right, so interrogate possibly, I think, is what we're
It's up,
leaning
it's up
towards.
to you, I would say. Like, if you want to do persuasion, let's go for persuasion.
Okay, yeah, like I am. Yeah, it's probably right on the line of like I'm persuading them to try and
Get
give me this information.
Yeah. They would definitely fork into each other if you had both of them.
Yeah. All right. Let's try to persuade them.
Sure.
Trying to remember what the obs look like on that.
It's their will exponent.
Okay. Well, they're just a tiny baby squire, so one will. I'm trying to remember, like, yeah, what is like kind of a semi-average? Is it like 3-ish too, somewhere in there?
Yeah, it's 2 or 3. I'm gonna say 2 in this case because someone under Octavia's rule probably doesn't get a whole lot of chances to be.
Yeah, it'd be different if I like tried to call upon somebody that was like a similar like high-ranking officer or something, rather than maybe like
Yeah.
a squire like Rufin is.
Yep.
Right.
Cool.
Okay. And then we're giving me +1 since I have some sort of. They have at least like some sort of disposition with me.
Yep. And you did good on your circles roll, so
Yeah. So modifier 1, no Artha, base op 2, and then it'll double for me, correct?
yep, it'll do it.
Additional complications, none?
No. Oh,
Hey, just barely.
do you want to spend fate on this? You have 2 successes. I don't think that.
I don't
gives
think
you-
rolling over on most standard skills does anything for me, does it?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but we can assume not.
Let's keep moving past
Yeah.
it, because
Sure.
I don't know what more information I would get other than what I'm already asking.
I would be willing to say if you roll above it, you could get an extra effect out of this.
Like some sort of, yeah, something
They're gonna-
special or more detailed or whatever.
They'll tell you the thing plus a little bit. The tricky thing though is since it's beginner's luck, it'd have to be 2 more successes to actually
True.
count.
I do have
as
2 6s, but the likelihood that I hit both of those is
25%.
whatever that is. 25%. Yeah, so.
Okay,
No, I'll settle for this much information. Like, I don't need
sure.
them to go out of the way for me or whatever.
Yeah. So Reuven is gonna.
I do my charming, like, oh, why the change of heart routine?
Reuven's just a little bit nervous, honestly, in this situation. There's some like
As one is.
rank dynamics going on here. And they're like, I don't think Octavia had a change of heart. I think she doesn't like you and wants to see you in there anyways. And she hasn't said why. But she doesn't think leading Castile is a good thing.
Yes, I suppose I could see that. Well, given the fates of some of our previous leaders, I could maybe see where she's coming from on that. Unfortunate fates for the lot of them.
She said that when the 2 of you were together, you argued, but she wasn't worried about what you would be doing as the leader. And for player knowledge, this is specifically that one roll, that intimidation roll, that didn't succeed against her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe I took that a bit too personally. You know how these things can get with you and your superior officer. Sometimes things get a little heated, and I suppose I took that personally. That's my flaw there. These things happen. It's good to hear that she is at least somewhat still in my corner. Thank you, Reuven. It's been very helpful. Charmed to meet you.
They'll bow and say,
Aw.
"It, yes, thank you. Good luck in your nomination in the election. You already have your nomination. If you don't mind, please
This
don't
poor
mention
nervous
this."
child. Oh, well, of course not. This is between us.
Okay. And is there anything else you want?
No, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna push my luck on that one.
Okay, awesome. So that disperses, and do we want to hop over to Taryn and Ash?
Well, I'm not going to be talking to Ash. Dwyn is going to be talking to Ash.
Sorry.
I'm not.
That'd be kind of a fun interlude where Taryn just leaps into the game.
Have you considered Dwyn?
Have you considered getting Taryn's character name?
Yeah. What is Taryn trying to get out of this? Oh my, Dwyn. Sorry, it's so
Why can you
tough.
not say Dwyn?
Probably the same thing as Dwyn's trying to get out of this.
So tough.
Last session it was Winsy. This session it's me, apparently.
Boy, boy, oh boy.
Well, you're getting closer to.
Yeah.
Like, it's at least you as a person is probably closer than my character.
Sorry. This is very entertaining for me.
What would
You're
It's not like
doing
me and
We're
Corey
all
have played
doing
games
great.
together for almost a year now.
Yep.
Anyway.
what would Dwyn
Dwyn?
like? Yeah.
Dwyn is trying to set up the failsafe. If things go badly, Ash will come with him to leave. And if things go well, just assure Ash that Dwyn's not trying to push out the kinfolk necessarily. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. What is this scene like? Is this another private room?
Yeah,
What's the-
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We I grabbed Ash and we're passing Robin and Tenna as they leave in tears. This is the emotion room, right? This is where we gotta cry.
Okay, awesome. Do you want to start by opening up with Ash, or?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, well,
Okay.
I'll kind of look at him and I guess I just want you to know first off that I'm going to step out of the race. Or at least put forward another candidate.
I think that's probably a good idea, if I'm being perfectly honest.
What makes you say that?
But we've seen what's happened to Tenna and Robin's relationship when they were there. We just saw. I don't think I want that. That doesn't sound.
I don't either. I'm gonna put my confidence behind Lord Winsey.
I am quite happy to hear that, actually.
But if things go opposite of what we wish and Robin gets put in power, I don't think that holds well for either of us or our face.
No. Robin doesn't want. Well, admittedly, there's been some. I can see the frustrations with the ancestors, and there's a little bit there. Even with the kinfolk as well. but I think Robin might take that too far. I don't know.
In my conversations with her, that's been noted. I think whoever, whether it's Robin or whoever she would ever pick, would push against what we are. So I want you to run away with me, if that becomes the case.
Ash is like, whoa. Bombshell. Run away.
Leave Castile.
And go where?
Wherever. There's plenty more out there. There's plenty to see.
All I've ever known is Castile. And you.
It's... Castile has its good and it's bad, but it's not anywhere close to all that there is.
I sometimes feel a little bit strung into Castile.
And there are kin and there are ancestors wherever we can go.
I think that would be... And Ash is
Roll.
having like a moment. Yeah.
I
it's
can
a
feel the roll. I can feel the roll there.
Yep. Alright.
Persuasion.
I think this is persuasion.
All right. I have developed this skill, so...
Woot woot. Nice. Is this the first time... Have we done a... No, we did arson before. Okay, never mind. Awesome. So
We tried to do arson before.
Persuasion is still the will of the other person. So Ash's will is 3. So that'll be the obstacle. But you can decide what skills you want to fork in as far as things that you think might be related. And each one you fork in gives you a bonus dice.
Okay. I don't know if I have much else that forks in.
Right. I'm just looking at your list too.
Yeah.
You can always fork in us in astrology.
I was just thinking that the stars will it.
Exactly. You read the stars the morning and you got to get out of Castile. So
If things go poorly, we gotta run, babe.
yeah.
So, all right. Yeah, I'll fork in astrology, sure.
Sweet.
But I have to roll that one separately because it's a whole...
It's got its own thing going on.
Yeah. And then I will probably use my Aratha. Or, no, I have 2 personaed, so...
Actually, for the astrology one, let's roll it in the skill.
Astrology?
Yeah, we'll count it as part of the roll, but we'll just assume it's the rightmost dice. The reason why I say that is because how many dice you put in is going to determine how difficult the test is, and I just realized that'll mess with it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. So modifier 2? Because I'm going to use a persona.
That'll go in the Artha box specifically.
Oh, duh. Yeah, that makes sense. Modifier 1 then, because forking in astrology.
Yeah, exactly.
Aratha 1, base op 3.
Yep.
No. Oh. Dang it!
Oof.
So close.
Oofta. So that's a difficult test that you can mark down. And you can also, if you want to track it, you can put the persona point into your persuasion box if you want. It's not going to come up while we're playing, but in theory, that's where it goes.
Gotcha.
So Ash is at this pause and thinks for a moment and says, I don't know how I would do out there. I'm bound. And Ash has this moment where they keep trying to say something. They keep repeating, I'm bound, and they just have this gasp after each time that they do it. Eventually they just bite their lip and get frustrated. I wish I wasn't so scared.
Me too.
I don't think winning this election is a good idea. And like I mentioned, I'm really glad that you're not taking part in it or planning to pass your confidence, but at the same time I don't think I don't think I could make it out of here. At least not now.
Well, I think I'm still gonna go if things come to it.
You're gonna leave. You're gonna leave. You're just gonna leave.
If things come to it, yes.
You think Castile is so bad that you would rather leave and leave me behind? To be with these villains?
I've asked you to come. You're frightened, I can see that, but is there something holding you here? Like, if I were to leave, why? Why would you stay?
Ash's mouth sort of jitters for a bit, and occasionally they open their mouth a bit, but it keeps sort of like jumping back shut, and they just stare really intently.
I think we'll wait and see, and I think Dwynna's just gonna like pull him in for a kiss and leave.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go find both of the other player characters.
Do you want one conversation before the vote?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Time to ski.
Yeah, because
what's going
this
on?
feels creepy AF.
Oh,
Dwyn, out of this one conversation, does not feel okay with whatever is going on anymore.
Have you considered the ancestors? But really?
You considered
Have you
leaving
really
everything.
considered?
Can't wait to find out that Castile is the Matrix.
Here's the thing, Castile is really the villain of the story.
We thought this was gonna be PvP possibly, but it turns out it's player versus environment.
Yeah. So yes, I'm gonna go find the other two and just pull them into another room off to the side.
Cool. I'll let y'all go for that. And
I don't know about the two of you, but I don't feel good about what's coming. And also, I haven't had a chance to dream, and that bothers me.
It does feel like a bit of a setup, doesn't it? I tried to confirm what Octavia's motives was for nominating myself. Supposedly nothing untoward, but Still doesn't seem 100% above board, does it, to just suddenly spring this election?
Not only does it feel conspiratorial towards us, I tried to gauge whether my love would go with me if, to be quite frank, Robin was elected. But they found it difficult to go. And now I don't even feel like I would want to stay if I were elected.
I'm gonna like look at Robinson's like kind of backhanded
Yeah.
that got a little.
Yeah. I was about
Twin's
to make
kind of a
It's
dick.
all-
It's fine.
It's
Yeah.
all out there now.
Yeah.
He-
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
had to put it
He
out
did-
there.
I'm a little upset that he showed her hand, but that's fine.
Almost without like kind of realizing it, Robin is gonna kind of just like casually move / shift her position so she's in quick access to the doors,
As one does.
as one does, because she's quickly realizing she might be in a room with people she doesn't trust. I think that there's something strange here too.
At least we're all in agreement on that. Let's start there, possibly. Like,
Yes.
sensing the tension in the room. It's like So, how do we move forward from here then? Is our aim to delay the election? Cancel the election?
I wonder if we'd have a choice in the matter.
I'm beginning to feel like maybe no. The more I think on it.
We didn't have a choice to be nominated.
Yes, I would have at least liked the choice to nominate myself.
We're aware, Wenzi.
And especially, Dwyn, yourself, speaker. You did not seem especially eager yourself, to be nominated.
I
Strange that you were anyway.
don't feel that it's the church's place to be at the forefront. I see both myself and the ancestors as a guide, less as a leader. And I believe the same about the kinfolk as well,
Mhm.
despite our disagreeing beliefs. Sorry, I just noticed Zach's renamed.
It's been there the
On
whole time,
Zoom.
literally.
It's Mayor
Sorry, everyone. I'm in
Reginald
Zoom as
Wednesday.
Mayor Reginald Wednesday and have been since the start of this. And it
Just
finally came
just noticed it.
up. Also, while we're timed up, Corey, did we ever actually hear how Dwyn got nominated? Or was that just like, he was nominated? Because his players'
Due to-
knowledge,
It was like due to his service.
yeah, there was kind of
to-
like a vague, like,
to
for helping out, right?
His presentation of the power of the ancestors was
Gotcha.
essentially what they said.
Because you showed off.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is Goblet of Fire your name into the...
Yeah.
Gotcha.
In this pause, one of the council members knocks on the door and peeks in and says, it's election time soon. Come get ready for the voting process. You've got about 1 more minute, thank you. And they boop out.
I believe it's decision time then. thoughts? Obviously, the straightforward option is we walk back in there and we allow the election as it stands, but it seems like we're all feeling a bit uneasy about that.
Right.
I have a suggestion, and this benefits none of our ideals and visions for Castile, but the open road is an option.
I was thinking more delay the election, but to each their own, I suppose. If
I've come to a decision myself, actually. I think I'm going to try and leave.
But what about all of your influence?
As much as I wish to see the church survive, I am becoming frustrated by the whole situation. And the inability to see things clearly.
This is why you shouldn't trust in other things to make your decisions for you. It's usually a lot clearer when it's your own thoughts.
Except all of the cloudiness comes from my fellow man.
If you say so.
I in fact do.
I think that there is an opportunity here to start all of this over again.
in what way? Start all of this over again.
Well, much like a forest after a fire, once it burns, it grows back stronger.
I knew this was going to be your suggestion. Sorry. I was thinking the same thing.
It had to be me.
Do I know? As an officer, do I know about the burning down the ivory tower? I assume no, because Robin or Tenna swept it under the rug, correct?
Yep.
Okay, because normally that would be a thing I would probably hear about, I would assume, as my parolee.
There are benefits to that plan, I can't deny.
Mm-hmm.
What would you need of us? Or at least myself. I have yet to determine Lord Wenzi's position.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'll hear you out.
Something tells me if she tells you, you're either in or you're...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or I will remind you that I like point to the where the large lump is underneath her cloak.
It's in my boot. It's
Okay.
less noticeable.
My hand goes to my side to the sword, and I'm like, we all brought weapons if that's where this is going.
No, I'm gonna run away. That's my weapon.
Okay. Robin's blocking the door, though. We already established that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing that these people seem to hold dear is this place. As much as you'd like to say
Mm-hmm.
that the what is Corey doing? What is he doing? What's going
He's
on?
gluing his hands together.
What's happening? Oh, he's turning his fan on. Oh, it's getting hot
Okay.
in here. It's getting hot because of this hot,
Fire.
Hello, welcome back. We didn't say anything. We were just
It's
watching you. Anyway, the thing that I find the people here hold most dear, and you may disagree, Speaker Dwin, is this place. Kind of gesturing to this giant tower. This was here before the ancestors. This monument to learning, or rather, this sealed tomb of knowledge. I think if they stopped relying on... I think if they started thinking for themselves again, I think if those who find themselves in power found themselves without a wealth to hoard, perhaps people would start thinking for themselves. And they could choose to think through the ancestors if that's their line of beliefs.
There are ancestors of the flame. This is fine with me.
Mhm.
All right.
I
Mhm.
concur.
Mhm. So to be clear, proverbially, we're wiping the slate clean of the ivory tower. Just theoretically, it just is up in smoke, so to speak.
Yes. And I think when the smoke clears, there's a chance we all get what we want.
I like to think about it as choosing not to learn from history so that we can repeat it.
Mhm.
We've overthrown the ivory tower before. What's to say I can't do it a second time?
You do have a point.
It's
We do have someone with experience here. It's
and,
either we walk back in there to whatever trap they have with this election, or
we bar the doors and
well, we don't bar the door.
sorry,
That's
I got
maybe a bit
excited.
We're all getting excited here.
Listen, I'm an arsonist, not a murderer. Asterisk-ish.
Yeah.
I think
we did
establish you've
I've
killed
killed
at least two
people.
I haven't killed anyone yet. I'm very excited to
Yes.
try.
None, one, or all. That is that is a character role.
So,
hmm
are we all in a concurrence?
It seems we're not left with many other options.
I agree. I do not really wish to see where this election takes us or what it
Mhm.
holds for those of us that it has deemed worthy of sacrifice.
hmm
I have a proposition for the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
Drop your nominations.
Mhm.
If I by default win, it would not seem, by some, out of place, or rather,
Out of character.
to propose something like this. It could be a turning point instead of a rebellion.
hmm
Mm.
It could be something that perhaps I could persuade the people to do themselves.
They are easily whipped up into a furor.
It
Just-
is one of their faults.
And then what? after
Yes, we would
you
need
claim your
some-
place as mayor and well, burn the ivory tower to the ground. We can be adults about it.
something.
And then I leave. I did like the sound of that, Speaker Dwayne. I leave perhaps a joint leadership between two very interested minds who share the same thoughts as myself, at least to a certain degree.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
I'm not opposed, though I worry that that sets some sort of either trap or precedent. I'm not quite sure which yet.
So, as this conversation is going on, there's a knock
they're
at
back
the
at-
door.
Get out here. Yeah. So,
You hear Octavia's voice. We're ready for you.
mhm,
That's
mhm,
good to know.
mhm.
Hard to have an election without us present, though.
Yeah. I look at Robin and I look at like Dwayne to like get a gut check on where he's at on this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I like gesture Robin to the door. It's like, well, would the mayor-elect lead the way?
So, I'm good at talking to people. Doesn't mean I like it. I will lead the way out of this place.
You're blocking the door, so we can't get out of it. You're like
It's true,
one.
You know, I acknowledge.
Yeah. Okay, so all three of you go back?
Mhm.
Okay.
Whatever weird podium they have for.
Yeah. This is probably a good chance for a break if we want to take
Yeah,
a
should we-
fiver.
Yes, please.
Okay, let's do that. So we're gonna be back in a couple minutes. Sounds like we have a leader picked out, so we'll go do
Temporarily.
that. Yeah.
We'll
and-
see how this goes. I really think we should just burn it down and then run, but
It's still an option. We're leaving that on the table.
Wynn's
That's plain.
definitely
It's
a
a
coward.
last-ditch-
I've decided.
yes. Yes, it's a last-ditch effort. In
Right.
the event of an emergency, pull gun and run.
In the event of a not fire.
Yes.
we will be back in 5 or 10 minutes. See y'all then. Hello and welcome back to this election that we are experiencing in Castile. We're expecting some rough weather going forward, and it's going to be pretty exciting. So we just left off where the group had decided after their recess that they wanted to give the election to Robin, drop out of their nominations, and let that go forward. The three of them have just headed back to submit this to the council in the court where all the nobles and all the other attendees are about to see. And as we see this, the council is sort of there. The General Palpatine figure is looking as evil as ever. There's a bunch of folks. They've cleared the way, and as the three of you walk in, it's dead silent. It is completely quiet in here, and everyone is just watching. You can see on the podium now is the voting mechanism that they have got ready in place. Essentially, how it works is there are, it sort of looks like the scales of justice, except there are 3 scales. And there is a little mechanism at the top where they can drop pebbles in to essentially have pebbles act as votes, and whoever's is the heaviest would win the election. That's probably not going to get used based off of what's going on, but with that, I think I'll turn it over to the group and to Robin to begin this.
I don't think I would begin, is the thing.
Yeah, probably not. It's probably. And
Hey
Lindsay's probably.
everyone, my opponents have dropped out. You'll have to
Actually,
trust
they
me on
decided
this.
that.
Okay, you want the council to begin?
Well, that
I just
or
would rather
I think
have one of the other two.
I think one of
Oh.
us two would probably, and Lindsay's
I'll
almost
have
certainly going to try and
closing
insert
remarks.
himself. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I would assume I probably unless the council is going to try and lay something out, I'm probably going to go up and try to make myself look like the hero and announce first that I'm conceding.
Honestly, they're just waiting for everyone to give their pitches at this point. Like, that's sort of the social expectation.
Yeah. Okay.
That
Gotcha.
they're-
There haven't been a whole lot of elections.
We've only done 2 of these, and one the
Yeah.
guy was murdered
Yeah.
twice before.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So I go up to whatever podium situation there is, or
Sort of like a dais, I imagine.
yeah. Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
Go up to that and take a breather for a moment and sit there. Welcome, citizens of Castile. After careful consideration, I believe it is best if, to put it bluntly, if I cede my position on this ballot to my opponents. And I turn to Octavia in the crowd, mostly I'm probably giving this speech at her, more or less, wherever she is at. Look, aren't I humble and good?
She's busting a vein right now. She's like,
Yeah, I know, she's so upset. Despite the very kind and generous and thoughtful nomination from my superior officer, I believe it would not be in Castile's best interest if I stayed in this election. I'm but a humble soldier in the Kin militia, and I believe there are those with more experience that could guide Castile's hand. I will cede the floor and my time to Robin and to Speaker Dwin.
okay. Dwin's up next.
Yep. Twin kind of steps forward, looks around the room, makes eye contact with Ash, and just has my opponent before me has said in not so many words, I too wish to rescind my nomination, as I do not feel it is the church's place to guide from the front, but to guide each and every person of Castile to a better future. I do not feel it would be wise or ethical to allow my nomination to continue, and am humbly rescinding my place on this ballot. Thank you.
While this is going on, and as Tenna sees this and realizes that there's only one left, she walks out of the room and leaves. Robin's up. I think you're. Are you muted?
No, I'm
Oh,
just
no, you're
talking
good.
quietly.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Contemplating.
Okay. I will not step onto the dais. I'm gonna address everyone. I'm assuming there's like floor space around it. I'm just gonna walk around the room. And for a second, not really say anything, just kind of like look at all of the people in this room. Kind of look towards the door where Tenna just left. And once I kind of just make my way towards the front, kind of where this council is sitting, I'll turn so that my back is to them, so I'm addressing the rest of the room, and say, many years ago, or perhaps not as many as it would seem, we thought we knew what we were doing. We thought we knew best, and we were wrong. And there was a time of change, and it was quick, and it was sloppy. And I think in that change, what we strived to do and how we strived to change how Castile was, we did not change it for the better. In fact, I don't think we changed it at all. There is a problem with Castile the way that it is now. And I would hope that some of you can see that this place is like a toxin. It causes those who desire knowledge, who desire the things that are locked in here, to work themselves so hard for a chance to know more. And in trying to gain access to knowledge, they forget that they can learn so much for themselves. Many of you have chosen ignorance over the simple logics of life. And I think that this is now a time again for change. And I think that this is a time that we together can change, and change for the better this time. And I'm going to turn back to the council. I'm going to say, it does begin with a change in ideals, though, and a bit more a logical stance on things. And it seems as the way that you have been keeping things recently has been a bit detrimental to the good of all who live here. And just kind of addressing the rest of the crowd again, I will say, I know that many of you have had a very, very short window to gain trust in me again. I wish that you had not lost it, but I can assure you that the decisions that I make while in leadership will be ones that will change Castile for the better. And then I'll just and then I'll leave the room. I'm gonna follow Tenna. I'm just gonna say my spiel and then just leave.
Okay.
Or I'm going to attempt to leave.
Yeah.
You can leave the tower. You can't leave the city limits. Is the only rule.
I can though. I'm not under house arrest anymore.
No, I did not mean that.
Well,
I meant the spooky reasons.
Well, here's the thing. I don't believe in ghosts and spirits. They can't affect me if I don't believe in them. Right?
So you leave. No one stops you. Just to clarify, like you're ultimately accepting the leadership, right? Like that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just double checking to make sure.
Yep.
Awesome. The council is gonna let you walk out. I mean, leaders can do what they want. The council closes up some of their books and says, "That is the conclusion to the election. We will be moving forward with our new leader, Robin. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the trial. That is the end of this trial."
I think at this point, I'm gonna like make eye contact with Win, or if like we're sitting next to each other, like make a motion for the door, like, "Hey, should we go figure out what Robin's up to? Because that could be. Maybe we don't want to be in this particular building." Do like one of those, just like a elbow if we're like by each other, or like a let's not be here.
Or what is loving from the car? Just
Yeah.
As soon as I get out of the door, I'm like sprinting trying to find Tenna.
Yeah. Finding in what sense? Like, are you?
I literally want to find her.
Like,
I don't know where she went.
Vaporized turned into some sort of spirit. Ugh.
Like,
Yeah.
are you checking rooms and stuff, or are you going to her office, or?
Oh, geez, where did she go?
Yeah, that's sort of the question. And we can say like, Robin as a character would probably have a hunch, even if we're not sure, and just like be like, "Oh yeah, it happens." If you want to do that.
I think that she would just go to her house. Is where I immediately would think if like connecting the dots, she's just leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I
Sure.
don't think she would get anything from her office. I think she would just leave.
Yeah. Okay. So you're definitely gonna catch up with Tenna then at her house. That makes sense. Or I'm just gonna figure out quickly what Dwin and Wenzi want in this. Like, what's sort of the direction that they want to go. And if you want some time to think about it, we can do the Tenna scene, but just sort of seeing how it all comes together.
I was a little worried she was going outside and getting ready to start this place on fire, so I was probably like following a little, and or like just getting out of the building and trying to figure out what's happening.
I then Twin, while following Lord Wincy, running around like looking frantic.
Yeah, we're like in on privileged knowledge of like I assume like we get out of the room and I do like a should we be evacuating?
It's more Dwayne is just like, maybe we should just find her first. Do you know where she might head?
Considering Tenna walked out, probably meeting up with her, but I don't know where that would be necessarily.
Maybe her home?
I think we can have a big group meeting at the.
Yeah, I
we
like
can
that.
head that way.
Just all of us
If we're
together.
cool with that, I think that'd be interesting.
Okay.
If we like, or
But
yeah,
we're
or we catch her on
probably
the way out
we're
or
probably a few minutes later than
Yeah, I was
Robin
gonna
is,
say
though.
the exact.
Yeah,
Quick
'cause
knock,
I'm
knock, knock,
sprinting.
door.
One, I
Yeah,
want to give.
You're fast walking. I'm like
Well,
sprinting.
also Dwin gets lost once or twice, so
I do it quick, like, hey,
you look around and Dwin's just gone at one point. So you have to like find him and then get back
Dwin,
on
come on.
track.
ice.
So, I think what happens is as you are on your way towards Tenna's house, you're taking sort of like the main road. There's some people moving about, but it's a bit of a quiet day. I'm imagining that Tenna's place is sort of in the like government area, and all the officials are in the tower right now, sort of doing post-election stuff, getting to all the paperwork that they're gonna have to do. And right now, Tenna is being confronted by the heckler that you ran into earlier, that called Robin. I think it was a traitor, if I remember.
Something
correct.
like that.
Yeah.
Oh
to
no, no,
that-
no. It did something to Lord Wenzy.
They threw the fruit at Lord Wenzy.
Yeah, hit me, but then I think did yell stuff at Robin about
At
being a
one of
traitor or
us.
something like.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember that I came to your defense at one point.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was kind of both of us, I believe.
And they're sort of having a moment where this interferer is like, you Tenna think you are so good, and they're sort of like poking their shoulder and stuff, and like making a scene out of it. And Robin, you get close enough that you can sort of see what's going on, and Tenna's like, I'm not even the leader anymore, just go away. This isn't relevant to me. You need to leave me alone. I'm going. Move out of my way. How does Robin react?
I would like to pull the gun out, please.
Okie dokie.
All I
And-
want to do,
Yeah.
pull it out, and say, I think she said, you need to leave. That's what I want to do, please.
Let's do an intimidation roll. I think.
Okay. I'm learning how to be intimidating, you guys. This is an important skill.
I think you do have at least one advantage on your side on this one.
Is it
That's
gun?
true. Okay. So intimidation is based off of will.
It sure is. You did hear gun. The gun has finally come out. For real. Not just
Yeah.
like for show.
Yeah. I think the will, it's based off of the will of the opponent. I think their will is 2, because they're kind of like an ineffective and crappy person. Yeah, and so definitely an advantage dice for you have a gun with you. That's pretty...
Do I have advantage die because I'm now the effective leader of this, of this city?
Are
I don't
you
know if
saying
it-
that to them? Or are you being like...
Oh no. I guess I shouldn't assume that everyone was there. I guess it was just mostly official people.
Just ran out a heckler, probably.
Yeah, not just
Doesn't
never
show
mind.
up.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up if it becomes relevant, but
Okay.
like it's not even really real to me. So
Yep. Cool.
okay. So I'll add a 1 for gun.
Yep.
Well, I don't have any persona to spend. Okay. So, you said their will is 2, which would be my base odd,
Obstacle.
right?
Yep, exactly.
I'm gonna assume there's no additional complications. I'm gonna pray that there aren't.
Nope.
Oh god, okay, I
Yeah.
got my bad roll out earlier. That has to be the last one, right? This is not the time I want to have a bad roll. Okay. Clip. Damn it all.
Oof. Yep.
I just can't. Robin's a mess.
Robin.
It's time to up the ante on this situation.
So the situation here that falls out is Tenna is like, Robin, put that away. That is not relevant right now. And this heckler is like, you think you're so big, and they look at you and like, you are a traitor too. Both of you. You betrayed this town. You let us down. And
Trigger.
they are going to, I think, charge at you.
Oh, excellent, because I was getting ready to punch them. So I'll just wait for them to come to me, and then I'll just like, I'll try to clothesline them.
Okay, so, oh boy, so
Combat! The
So-
last episode.
there's 4 different combat systems. We're gonna go with the most straightforward because,
That would be great.
yep.
Yeah, I assume we're just gonna bloody versus test it. Is
I
that
was
what you're
just
thinking?
gonna do a straight roll.
Just a straight roll.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means, but I'm here for it.
I'm gonna go. Let's go take a peek at the chapter
Let's go take a look.
because we can see what happens. So 424 is the fight chapter.
I did open straight to charge/tackle.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which is a basic fighting action.
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at the simple martial conflict on page 425.
It looks like it's just a straight up versus test.
Yeah.
Just like both sides state their intent and
Yeah.
go for it.
Okay, cool. So this person will be rolling with their power, and you can roll with power as well, or you can roll with a fighting skill if you've got any. Or you can start learning some if you want, but
Oh god.
yeah.
Oh, my power's not great. Okay.
Their power is also going to be 3, so it's
Mm.
kind of a toss-up.
Question.
Yep.
I don't know if this. I'm just like trying to read over this, and I don't know if this works. I have like a lot of agility.
Yes. You can get
How
an
could I use that
advantage.
into my advantage?
Yeah.
I mean, the test looks like you can state your intent. If it's to dodge or to like sidestep, you could probably.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say like, "Oh, I'm way quicker than this person," and get an
I can
advantage. dice.
almost guarantee that I am way quicker than
Yeah,
this
you can
person.
speak into existence whatever you want to be your
Okay.
intent here.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's fantastic. Okay.
I think that's all that you'd be able to get, probably.
Have you considered I am indeed faster?
I'll go ahead and roll theirs just to see, and then you can make some informed decisions upon how well they succeed. I'm just going to use your character sheet too because you have the same
It's fine.
value as them. They didn't do great. They only got 1 success.
Okay. Okay. So do I also make a power roll or do I make the agility roll?
It'll be a power roll with 1 advantage dice.
Okay. And is that a base ob of 1?
Yep.
Excellent.
Nice.
Eh.
Cool.
Hey, I've got a 7,000 fate. If I get better than them, is that good?
I think in this case, we'll say extra successes do matter, because I think typically it does more damage based off of how many successes over.
I'm gonna spend a fate and reroll that 6 because I finally got one.
Nice.
Well, that's just great. It's just on par for the course.
Oh.
I thought that I would be great, and then I stopped. I'm just good enough. That's all that matters.
Okay. I just had to look at your combat sheet for barefisted combat really quickly because I have a hunch of how that works. So, yeah, you clothesline them. They get a bloody nose, and Tenna is basically gonna like grab your hand and say, "Let's go."
I will go with her.
Cool. So you two get to Tenna's house, and you have a moment essentially. She opens up and says, "You know, we should still go now."
I agree. But why didn't you wait for me?
I thought you accepted the position.
Technically. But
Tec-
I don't intend to keep it.
Tenna just takes a seat, and she's like, she like lets out a sigh, and she's still stuck.
I'm gonna kneel down next to her and say, Tenna, there's something odd about Castile. You were so dedicated to it until you were no longer a part of it. What's why? You said you were Castile. What did you mean by that?
Her mouth sort of quivers a bit, and she looks like she sort of is anxious about it, and there's a lot of tenseness to her. It feels like
I just want to reach forward and just like grab her hands.
She's got like
kinda.
a claw grip as soon as you do that. She's like, her muscles are so tense in this moment. And after a bit, she just like slams her foot into the floor and lets out this frustrating scream.
Why can't you tell me?
We should go if you are okay with how things were before.
How far before what?
Before
Us?
before we stepped into Castile's leadership.
Did something happen? Jenna?
There's now or there is never.
Okay. Okay. We'll go now.
Tenna's like just a huge relief of emotion, and she just gives you this big hug and begins to sob dramatically, and she's obviously happy about this decision, but she's so much emotion is built up and frustration that she hasn't been able to have release on. And she says, I've got some things ready to go. We can grab them and just leave. Do you have anything in particular that you need?
I don't have anything, Emma. You know this.
Says, okay, I've got a few extra things that we can bring. And with that, they're gonna begin to go get their stuff, but I think this is when Wenzi and Dwin show up. The door's probably still open. Like, I don't think in this situation that would have
No,
been
we
like...
definitely just
yeah.
kind of left it open.
Yeah.
There's
He's
like a knock.
barging.
There's a knock at the open door. Like,
Yeah. Robin
Hey!
and Tennant are there.
Mhm.
sorry to interrupt.
What are you doing here?
What's the plan?
Yeah, well, we evacuated first. A little worried about that, honestly, with how we left things back at the tower. And then we figured maybe regroup and figure out what we're all doing here. I like gesture to Tennant, like, hey, you're in on this too now.
Right. Change of plans. I'm leaving.
Tennant's gonna stand beside Robin.
Quite gel with how we left things. I knew that was your end goal, but there are still some things to be done for Castile.
Capable enough to do that? I look pointedly toward Lord Wenzi.
Yes, I believe we are, as you said, Speaker Dwin. There are ancestors who represent all sorts of things, and between that and the easily influenced nature of the people in Castile, I don't think that'll be much of an issue, do you?
I guess not, but things would go a lot easier afterwards and during if our newest leader were here for the moment, at least.
Mm-hmm. You know, Robin, it's, as you said when we met back when we were having our little daily chats, it was only a matter of time until people had something that pushed them over the edge. I think we might need someone to deal the final blow, though. If you'll oblige on your way out of town.
Play the villain one last time.
Give them a reason to blame for something, why not?
People do love a good villain around here. You've played the part so well.
I kind of look over to Tenna to see how she's gauging this whole
Can we just please real
interaction.
quick, just one stop on the way out of town?
Just one.
One little arsony stop.
one-
Hit the market real quick, burn down a tower, and we're right out of town.
Tenna is going to pull the left hand of Asturia out of her boot and say, I'm okay with this.
I'll pull the right hand out of mine and say, Tenna.
It was for emergencies only.
I'm gonna like lean over to Wendy and just be like, I feel a little outclassed.
I do.
Like, yeah, lean back and just like, I don't suppose that is the left hand?
Yes.
Most likely.
I'll kind of, a smile just kind of like builds on her face, and she'll reach down if she needs to swap hands, and grab hold of Tenna's hand,
Yeah.
and then look at the two of you and say, okay. One last villainous act, I suppose.
Call me in for one last job.
Once more.
Sweet.
Right, I guess we head to the tower.
I think Dwayne is going to make a very long trip back to his place at the church. Long only because he gets lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you need help?
Yeah, probably.
Do you need assistance?
And
I don't need
gathers his
assistance,
pack
Bert.
and things.
I don't need assistance to burn the tower. Don't worry about
And
it.
his walking stick as well.
Oof. Okay.
But I
Um,
need you to lead. Leadership is important. It
Dwayne
works so well
wants
for
to
us.
leave now.
Everyone's leaving, and then there's a power vacuum.
There is.
is Wendy staying or is Wendy planning?
Oh, for
to?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I
This
think
is all he has is seizing power here.
yeah, I think we've got two scenes then, which we'll sort of hop to as the wrap up. We'll see the tower, see what happens there. We'll get a little bit of an epilogue, where Speaker Dwyn and Robin go, and Tenna, and then we'll see a quick scene with Lord Wenzi. I think we should just hop into the role for the tower.
Tower, yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. Is this a pistol or an arson?
Oh, no, this is we got two guns.
Two guns.
We got two magic guns. Boy howdy are we gonna use them.
Yeah.
Shoot the tower down.
We're gonna try.
Okay. So let's take a peek sees at y'all can open up the Lament of Asturia.
Mm-hmm.
Finally.
I'm so excited.
I've been sitting
Oh
here
my goodness.
staring at this.
For weeks.
So
For a
Like a-
whole week.
this is gonna be a new skill that you're learning, which makes it tough. That being said, we're gonna figure some things out. This skill is similar to how Elven spell songs work, and the only thing that matters for that is that it's a skill and that it's open-ended. So when you test it, all of the dice are already going to explode. What does it look like when Robin fires the weapon, and what is that scene look like? What is Robin's intent? What are their motives? Is Tenna involved? Are they both firing?
Here's how I envision it.
Yep.
Two guns. Both shoot. Robin's gun, I think we established it. It doesn't shoot like weapons. It's essentially like a super thin, not necessarily even like a barrel, but more like, I don't know, kind of like a needle in like a casing, so you don't like die. But it fires. It's essentially a laser gun. Is the most basic concept. But instead of shooting lasers, it's shooting magic
Yes.
stuff. So I envision like it's essentially this kind of glass-like tube with this like needle-like thing in the center, and
Yep.
it just kind of fills with this purple energy that just shoots forward
Yeah.
and either deals damage or does some funky stuff like
Yep.
make an arcane storm maybe.
Yep. Okay, sweet. And tell me just a little bit more about what Robin's like motives are and
Right.
that.
Robin
that
wants to
piece.
blow up the tower.
Okay, is it And what's their emotions? Is this like a joy, happy, frustration, anger?
This is a slurry.
Okay.
This is a gumbo of emotions because there is
Yeah.
there is kind of a pent up frustration at just Castile in general, and this
Yep.
this giant pillar of, like she said before, this sarcophagus of knowledge, this
Yep.
just tomb where things go to die.
Yep.
And also the joy that Tenna is also here and finally can see that this is what I've been trying to do for this. This is what I started trying to do, and this is what I want to do. And the fact that, you know, Tenna is here and also is helping in this vision of hers is kind of like
Yeah.
exceptionally emotional as well.
Okay.
And
And
kind of like also mixing there's like a little bit of that hope that was earlier that like
yeah.
this could be the start of something new.
Yes. Are Wenzi or Dwin helping out in this situation?
I would like to say yes. I don't know how
Yeah.
I would help them fire 2 magic guns at a big tower to burn it down.
I will
Right,
consult the
otherwise.
stars to see what the best way is.
I too pull out my secret, the middle hand of Asteria.
The foot of
the right
The 2
foot of
feet.
Asteria.
I bought the left foot of a stick.
Wouldn't that be a good twist?
And
Nah,
you-
They're just big like
Instantly
swords.
We
The only
said
thing-
none, one, or all.
Mhm,
It's
yeah.
all.
I will say the none, one, or all is there was one couple in Castile that owned.
Look at you with your loopholes.
Okay, so helping is
I assume helping is like out of the at least on the actual them trying to use those. Like,
yeah, probably. Okay, so let's read some of this stuff and figure out how it works. The Lament of Asturia is a sad song. It comes in the form of a weapon and sings the destruction of their civilization. When used, it causes violent and disastrous effects on the scale of the natural effects table on page 520. So if y'all want...
I
your-
haven't read this document. And now I'm scared of this gun that I'm shooting. These guns. Guns.
look, all they
Roll
do
guns.
is they roll against this natural effect table that goes from cosmetic to catastrophic.
You know.
Yep.
Oh man.
When it's use successes over blah blah blah. Okay, so the sort of effect that happens is going to be based off of the obstacle of the test. So one caveat is, since this is a beginner's luck roll, we're going to use the doubled obstacle if it fails, and this is a possibility, so we're going to have to talk about the failure case as a little group before we do the roll, because this is going to be a tough roll. We use the doubled obstacle to determine how badly it happens. We'll figure these details out in a second, but the obstacle is based off of the intent that you fire the weapon with. So if it's fired inconsequentially, it's ob 1. If it's fired in practice or experimentation, ob 2.
I just read which of it is. I'm
Fired
scared.
in frustration or rage, I believe, is the key word that we used. I think I heard frustration. I was like, oh, there it is. So
Ah.
that's going to be ob 5.
Yep.
Totally fine. It's based off of will and agility, so you've got really good agility.
I have such good agility. Oh my goodness, I didn't know I needed it until now.
Agility is the skill used for pistols and stuff, so that's why that is there.
It was like it was meant to be. Oh no.
So you can add that to being learned, and the skill is called the Lament of Asturia.
It sounds so good. Okay. Add.
Let's talk about the failure consequences. We get this set up. And you can check the box beside will to choose both of the skills, for will
Oh,
and
yeah.
agility. And yeah, awesome. It'll nice. So failure in this case isn't the weapon doesn't fire or anything.
Right.
Failure is big bad things potentially. Do we have, as it like an open discussion, any ideas what makes sense as far as failure or ideas there?
I
mean, destructive, but not in the way they're intending. Seems like
think an over-the-top destruction is more.
like
something
another
that-
like catastrophic
Yep.
arcane storm that's not just limited to the tower.
Yeah, something that's not just like confined, because it feels like these are like powerful items
Mhm.
that aren't just based around like, oh, I like point and shoot sort of
Mhm.
thing. It feels like if something goes wrong, it's not that it's gonna fail, it's that you're not controlling
It's gonna
power.
succeed way too well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It succeeds, but at what cost?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
Sweet.
It's that 7 to 9 on a Power by the Apocalypse roll.
It is.
Exactly.
Yes, but
You fire and it sure does create a catastrophe.
It sure does destroy the tower. However,
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
Oh, I was just gonna say, since we haven't used this before, but I was thinking about it, that it's at least a possibility.
Mhm.
Do you know if, since they're learning this skill, if they can still use stuff like carefully or patiently, like those rules of like,
Oh, that's a
if they're
great
really
question.
gonna aim this thing in? I can't find if it says it either way, but like that is an option. It takes high level carefully takes twice as long to do whatever it is, but you get +1 advantage.
Yeah. Let's take a quick second to do that and take a peek. I think this would be under beginners. Ooh, I don't actually know.
Yeah, I'd probably have to check beginner's luck to see if it's there, but
Let's take a quick peek, just because like we really want to get as many dice on this as possible.
yes.
that's why I was thinking, like, they're probably gonna. It's not they just they like run up and just like
Yeah, yeah,
Phew.
this is like, yep.
It didn't say under the.
It didn't say under carefully and like those things.
Okay.
I'm trying to find beginner's luck now though.
Cool. Welcome to the page turning portion of our game that we frequently go back to in
I
Burning
hope everyone
Wheel.
brought their textbook.
Well,
That was for you. I do want to say, whilst we are looking, there's an entire 2 pages worth of horse traits. I just thought that was interesting.
nobody's ever said that Burning Wheel isn't chonky.
It's got situations for everything.
Literally.
Literally.
everything.
It doesn't mention anything under beginner's luck, at least that like generic paragraph on 49 over it. So I would assume you could.
yeah. Let's
What do
assume
you
that.
think, Corey?
Yeah. I think we can assume that. The one question is, does it actually make sense if you take twice as long to like pull the trigger, essentially?
Well,
or-
I think
Or-
I would
Yeah, like
argue
lining
that
up
it's
the
the
shot
lead
and
up
yeah.
to it as
Sure.
essentially like making sure that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we're not
Yeah.
just half-assing this. Like,
Yeah, it's not a
Focusing your
drunk in the
arcane-
middle of the night
yeah.
stumbling like, I think I might just blow up the tower tonight. It's
Right.
very
Yeah.
much focusing
You
your
tried that
energy.
once and it didn't go great.
I did try to do that half drunk on a whim because I was mad.
Sweet. Yeah. So that'll be
Learned.
a bonus dice for
Okay.
that. I think that's probably all the bonus dice. So one from Tana, one from taking time and being patient.
Is this the part where I roll it?
I think so.
Oh boy. Okay.
So the obstacle's 5. It's already open-ended, so I marked the little box off so it'll explode all the 6s. Yeah.
Okay. I have no persona because I tried it on the failure dice that failed. Okay. 5. God. Okay. Dice gods, please.
So you can re-roll one of those with a fate, essentially.
Okay. Hang on, I don't think it was open-ended though.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like you rolled 9 dice.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
did it.
I just hovered over
Yeah.
on the number, and I think there's...
Oh,
Yeah.
yep. For
Yeah,
sure
there
did.
is.
Okay.
Yes, I have fate. I will use it.
It could make it less bad.
Look, we know you don't just use an arcane gun you know very little about and blow up a tower like successfully.
Every time I use fate to roll a 6, it's a 1. Every time.
Oh my god, that's... Oof.
It's every single time except for that one time where I didn't need to roll so well, but I did. Oh no.
So, the two of you get ready to fire, and there's someone counts down, and as there's a moment right before there's a fire, and you can see Tenna relax for a moment, and as she begins firing, she says, "Fuck that stupid cursed oath rod." And she fires the gun, and it hits the tower. Both... Go ahead.
Did she say curse of Otrad?
Cursed oath rod.
Oath rod.
Oath rod.
Yep.
Sorry, continue.
Yep. And it hits the tower. It begins to crack and crumble, and it begins to go all the way to the top. And I imagine there's something like really over the top, or really dramatic at the top of the tower, like a big diamond or something. And it begins to sort of like light up. And as it does, bits of like lightning and sparks start to go off of it, and they shoot out wildly. It goes up into the air, and the clouds begin to turn purple and violent. Wind begins to pick up, and with one strike of the lightning, the tower just crumbles. The entire thing falls to pieces, and the arcane storm begins to pick up as chaos begins to go around the group.
I'm grabbing Tenna and I'm running as fast as I can.
Dwyn is following with his big pack and his stick and his portly belly and his ropes.
Yep. So this is
I'm
just
running
gonna
away
be...
from Castile, the city. Running away from the city.
Yeah. This is just gonna be... Oh, and what's Wenzi doing?
He probably, I assume there's a bunch of people here still, and he's probably like gives each of them a look like, see, like I got you, and he like goes to have fun, and then goes about trying to like I don't know, do like the kin militia, like probably trying to like round up people and get them to somewhere safe or whatever. Just like, oh no, this horrible thing that happened that I had nothing to do with, everyone get to safety.
Okay.
Trying to be the hero.
Okay. So I think with that, we can maybe give each of you a moment to say like what epilogue happens with your character, like how they get out of the storm, what goes on, and we can bring a conclusion to that, because I think that's a good final dramatic climax.
Yep.
Sweet. Sweet. Whew. Um, whoever's ready can share where they go next, what that sort of looks like a little bit, and give like a
Yeah,
A
I think
glimpse.
Dwens is nice, short, and sweet. I think he just becomes a wanderer. I mean, he's well traveled. He's done this before, and I think he just kind of wanders and preaches the ancestor whoever he runs into.
Yep.
That's pretty much what happens to Dwayne. I don't know if he ever finds his way back.
Robin or Wenzi?
I think Robin and Tenna go up into the mountains. And I think they start making their way towards the wildlands.
Mm-hmm.
Be as far away from this nonsense as possible. And also, they have 2 guns and each other, so what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. What about Wenzi? I'm curious about the whole, like, there's going to be a whole storm that he has to weather, essentially, if he's staying.
Yeah. Well,
So-
yeah, it probably, like, for sure does some serious damage, like the one before. Also, like, yeah, like, for sure his angle is going to be, like, putting himself at the center of, like, the like, mitigation efforts of, like, getting people to safety up at front, and then also, like, the, like, recoupment efforts of, like, hey, so our last mayor did, and the previous mayor ran off and shot their arcane guns at our tower and destroyed everything and caused a big storm again. So like I assume, yeah, he makes a power grab is like probably the thing. I don't know if it's more interesting if he actually just like kind of moves up in the world or
Here's a thought that I had whilst we were all looking at you to be like, now what does Wenzi do? I imagine Wenzi as a kind of opportunist, which
absolutely, yeah.
we have been we have seen. So I kind of see him as like one who would be like, we need to rebuild, and then actually is like actively doing such things, and then the people are like, this guy seems like he knows what he's doing, and I think like
things that are good, but mostly for his own ends. Yes,
exactly 100%.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that same thing. Sort of like, and I think even from my own character standpoint, that would be what he would want Wenzi to do, would be to like almost use the opportunity of these people ran off, clear that they were the problem. Like
they were the only problem. It's fine. They're gone now.
or they were a problem, and like it indicative of what came before, and but clearly things were bad, and we need to go our own way.
Does Wenzi take up the leadership mantle, like the?
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out how that would work in a, like, our previous leader and destroyed the town again, and then the other person that was up also just skipped town. So like I don't know if it's like, hey, we call the election again and only one of the people there is still up for it, or if it's like a slower process and we don't like put anyone in charge right away, and Wenzi, like we said, like starts angling his position to be like the helper.
Like you might the town or the city may be a little bit preoccupied trying to survive. So,
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Hold another formal election or whatever.
I think they're going back into survival mode.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool.
And or would maybe try and like do a weird gambit of like suggesting Octavia becomes the like interim just like leader or whatever, and he's like, well, and while you're gone, I'll just take the kin militia for a bit.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good play.
Like before they like officially elect anyone, they do the like ancient Rome, like, well, let's just like pick a dictator for a short period of time so that we can get stuff done, and like try and get here into that. And it's like, well, no one's here to lead the kin militia, so listen up.
Sweet. So with that, that's sort of the end of our story for Fight for What You Believe, a burning wheel game.
What have we
We sure
done?
have.
We started with such a fanciful world full of dinosaurs.
And then it just ended with Indrig and Ballad.
That
was great.
Yeah.
And a
Fuck
lot of
the
emotion.
Oathrod.
Yeah. I was thinking rather than do our usual go through beliefs and stuff, we could have a bit of like reflecting on the whole thing and like Q&A.
Mhm.
If anyone in the chat wants to ask questions, we could do that. And maybe just share a bit about like if you do have any beliefs that you want to like revisit and talk about, you're welcome to.
Well, I would love to say I accomplished all 4 of my beliefs in this episode. So
Dwayne just kind of like shucked his beliefs. Like, I think
Twin believes in nothing anymore.
Yeah, I think the visceral reaction of both Ash and like just like everybody sort of just like upturning everything. He was just like, well, everything's kind of just in shambles. I need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely what I was thinking for Dwayne. Like, it was his own decision. Like,
Yeah.
but just wasn't expecting that.
I at least didn't have to pull out my first belief of destroying anyone who got in my way. We all
Yeah.
at least reached an agreement, and it didn't have to come to that. I was real worried that I was going to have to try and like reveal the gun or something and get Robin locked up or whatever.
not again.
Yeah.
So I'll pull back the curtain a little bit on
Please.
the election, and yeah, feel free to like ask questions about this stuff.
What's the Oathrod?
So there was a few people that were bound and essentially cursed by the council. Tenna, Ash, technically also Octavia, but she was all for it. She was like, yeah, bad guys, let's do it.
I'd love to be a bad guy.
And what was going to happen, if a single person won the election, the scene was going to be sort of like a stealthy assailant sneaks into the office, sort of says, hey, we're the council, we run the show, intimidates, and then essentially make them commit to the Oathrod and get into the same position all the other people were in. But nope, no one did that.
I just
Well,
used my
when
words
we
in my
all
charm.
started having conversations, and then
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
then-
mad about
no, it was one of those things where even if like I hadn't been privy to all the other conversations, that one conversation I had with Ash was like just
Hmm.
Red
flare,
flag. Red flags.
Yeah. And it's the whole thing of you can't talk about a curse that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
So what broke it? Or did anything break it?
It didn't really break it. I thought that it would be dramatically interesting, though, if Tenna had a moment where she could finally say something and get out some frustration. I don't know.
So good.
Yeah. Did y'all have a favorite moment from tonight? Or from the whole time?
I mean, they're the obvious ones from this one.
2 guns.
Two
One
guns,
tower.
too furious.
Though, like, the one I did really like from this one that we didn't 100% plan on was, like, at the end, right before the election happened, where we all circled back up, and, like, we didn't really have that going in, like, when we were like, oh, yeah, I'll do this.
We
and
were
this and this.
all gonna be like, it's everyone versus Robin. Robin's gotta beat you all. And they were like, hey guys.
Wait
And then we all, like,
a
got this weird,
second.
spooky feeling. We're like,
There's
we need to
shenanigans happening.
talk. There's some shit going on that we
Yeah.
need to have a conversation about.
and related where we got this close to just, like, walking out and burning the place down is pretty,
Oh man.
pretty choice.
I really thought we were all for that, and then Robin just left, and we're like,
See, Robin's also
Alright.
selfish.
"It's true. That's true."
Robin was all
worked out.
for Castile-ish, but mostly was there for Tenno.
Since the beginning.
we had
Anything
a,
Arax asked a question.
yeah, I think they asked about
Um,
any regrets.
Oh yeah, any
Or-
regrets? When did the fantasy land turn into politics?
At the very beginning.
Yeah, honestly,
Literally
like when we were doing
started.
the Quiet Year, like we had a bunch of the stuff about like there was a bunch of events of like people throwing coups and like starting elections and all that stuff. So it was kind of
Mhm.
baked in from the world building.
Yeah, surprisingly. Like
There were
this game-
dinosaurs too, but
Yeah, there was definitely like a couple turning points. One was the dinosaurs being introduced.
Hmm.
We thought was gonna be like, yeah, this is fantastic. And then it was like, oh, there's this coup. Oh, well, it goes off really well without a hitch. Oh, there's this person, and they're an advisor to this other person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any regrets? I don't.
I regret rolling so poorly all the time.
That was the toughest role.
it's only
that
like
we
my
played.
mechanical stuff that I could have set up better. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess understanding the system better would have been a thing. No, in character, no. I think the thing that surprised me the most was Dwin's reaction. This last one was just like, "Bye, I'm out of here, I'm running away."
Yeah.
I regret making the dinosaurs less a part of it than I wanted.
Yeah.
I want more dino time.
Need more dinos. Definitely need more dinos.
No, for next time, more dinosaurs.
Yes.
I was like kind of prepared if we did sort of center the situation around that, which kind of segues into another question I had. If you could choose a different situation, like rather than the trial, what situation would you want to pick?
Oh, Ghost Island. 100%. I want to know what's on Ghost Island. Absolutely. Or
Yeah, I've still got that,
volcano.
like-
Yeah.
The-
Or like something with a volcano.
Well, yeah, and we like never really got into the like the Badlands or Wildlands or whatever.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see that like turn into something.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. There's just we made our world too big and too interesting is the problem.
That is kind of the interesting that came out of the Quiet Year is like it kind of wills you into just like stuffing a bunch of stuff in there. So like it gave you a lot of options, but there's also just like so much stuff that we didn't explore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Taryn, did you get a chance to answer?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anything Eric says, another question. What were you looking for when you picked up the system?
I mean, about 5 pounds of book is what I was looking for.
Something
Yeah,
to
a
beat
quick,
somebody over the head with.
Do some curls.
Yeah.
Is
Yes.
When I pick it up, I want to work out.
A heavy bludgeoning weapon on top of a very thick TTRPG.
I mean, I think it's definitely it scratches that itch of something chunky, like a chunky system that's got a lot of mechanics. The character creation is probably my favorite thing out of Burning Wheel, honestly.
It was a lot, but it was so
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, and it really, you can build how do I want to phrase this? There's a lot you can do like along the way outside of just like any like one thing. The pass is probably one of the coolest things I've seen.
Mhm. Yeah, the interesting thing is like during the actual gameplay, the system doesn't actually get in there a bunch. Like
Yeah.
you've got the tests and stuff, but like really like you do a bunch of the work in character creation. It really sets you up with like all these different things of like all of your life
Yeah.
paths and the beliefs and instincts and stuff. And from there, it just like only intrudes when it needs to, which is
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
I really liked that. To me, the core of the game is like, or when I was trying to plan stuff, I tried to focus on beliefs, instincts, and traits. Like, it's not a mechanical thing, but it's so core that I was like, these are who your characters are, and I really enjoyed in the other book. There's sort of a second book, a companion that goes with it.
Yeah, we didn't hardly get into
Sure
that
is.
besides the spirit binding.
Yeah, this was all of Dwin's stuff was in here. Half of this book is just essays on how to do like tabletop games, and one of them was like, "Here's how you like properly structure a game around beliefs," and that was, I enjoyed that part. Did y'all have any other thoughts on the system or?
Oh, there's a lot there. I mean, that's my
There's
main
so
system.
much.
There's just a lot. I really enjoyed basically stepping back, I really did enjoy the Duel of Wits that we did, not this session, but last session, just because it was such a unique thing that I haven't really experienced with any other tabletop game.
Yeah, a lot of games like attempt to do some version of that, like social combat. Like, you know, there's the like really lightweight and like 5e where you just like roll persuasion and that's that. But like, it gets at least kind of close to that itch you're scratching of like social, like a
Tactics.
back and forth that actually like has some crunch to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it like has the same weight as combat does.
Maria, did you have any more thoughts or things about the system that you're thinking of?
Only that like it has this interesting duality of being like real thick and real chonky, but also being vague in its interpretations. So like it's not saying if you do X you must do X in all situations. Like it's open to interpretation enough that it gives you like 700 options that you can do. And you know, kind of like what Zach was saying, it doesn't really, it didn't bog down as much as I thought that it was going to, given the sheer size and pages and heft of like all of the rules, which was really interesting.
I was a bit scared going into the Duel of Wits. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, that ended up being a lot easier. I thought we just looked at it and we're like, I don't know, I guess we do this, this, and this eventually once we like got our bearings.
Yeah, it was actually pretty easy to like grasp, I felt like.
I think part of that is like the book is like just as like the technical writing of like actually laying stuff out really well. Like the Duel of Wits has all these like, it's got like little like matrix of like if you do this and they do this and you just test against it this way. Like it's very well laid out on that front.
There's another question, Chad, about what exactly are beliefs? I'll sort of give like I think a quick explanation. Beliefs are the driving force that I'll bring them up on the screen here, that you essentially plan your characters around. So we start every session off by looking at our beliefs and deciding what they want to be, and it's usually something like, I think this, therefore I'm going to do this. But, you know, of course, as we made our characters and understood it better, we moved around. And then at the end of the game, you get rewards for it. The one reward we didn't get into is a deed point. A deed point is like a huge, giant change in your character that's basically critical. We could potentially consider a deeds point for the whole tower situation.
Yeah, honestly, I was just thinking as you started saying that, like
becoming the villain.
Yeah.
Well,
and like running away from Castile as opposed to like doing all of the things that my beliefs are around. Like I'm out.
Yeah.
Well, and also like the one that it mentioned is like for greater goals is the one way you can earn a deed point, where it's like just the tagline is accomplishing goals bigger than you. Like that was kind of a huge one.
Yeah, definitely.
Change Castile.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, I
You
think
changed something very much.
Pride and Matthew's questions are super close to each other.
Yeah.
I think if we want to answer those. So, knowing things how it went, do you wish you'd built yourself differently? Is there anything you choose to do different for your characters as far as skills, instincts, that sort of thing?
Yes.
I
would put more into punching.
See, I would definitely have made Dwayne more of an order, but I didn't really have I guess I couldn't because I didn't really have the space, because Dwayne was very much like, at the beginning at least, focused on spirit binding and like how all that went, and that was kind of like how I had to go with everything. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I'd choose a few different things just at the beginning, but yeah, I mean, Dwayne is Dwayne. He's a very much like, I really did enjoy the spirit binding mechanics. I enjoyed kind of diving into that aspect of a character in this society. It's interesting to play a little bit more of a like I wouldn't say the like how do I want to put this? I wouldn't say he was the most changed character by the situation, but he was more of the more like like side of the situation. I feel like he was more of a supportive role than anything that I've tend to run, especially for stream games and things. Like it was more so like an aid to get to places.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed that. So
yeah. Awesome. Maria, did you have thoughts on what you would have done differently, or skills, or any of that?
Yeah, I feel so to pull back, Corey, if you want to pull up my character sheet and go to my skills, my being learned skills for one.
Yeah, I think we noticed that like first session. Like
I have 7. I tried to learn a lot of things. And I think by looking at my being learned skills, you can kind of guess the kind of person that I tried to make. And instead, what I did make, which was a book nerd. And Robin turned out to not be very much of a book nerd. And that's something that I think just came with actually playing out the character.
Yes, yeah.
And like being in the world and the situations and everything made it a bit more obvious as to what kind of character Robin was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Pride, I did in fact make a book nerd in a TTRPG. Surprise! It's my default setting. But no, she didn't turn out to be a book nerd, so it all worked out. So there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Zach?
Yeah, I have a lot of answers to that one.
We
a lot of similar stuff. I'll keep it brief. I would have, I think the core thing I would have done about Wednesday, and like, I don't think I grasped what I was supposed to be doing with the system enough the first time around through character creation, is I ended up like, you know, I was trying, like, had the character concept of like someone who's part of the Kin militia, yada yada yada, and like is like part of that like military hierarchy, and I ended up making a character who was like, you know, a fighter but incidentally a social climber, and I would have done the opposite, where like based on life paths and skills and things like that, made them a social climber, like go through like the actual like lord life paths and things like that, and just have them, maybe the last one was like, you know, squire knight or something like that, where they incidentally maybe had a sword skill or something like that.
Yeah.
So like the skills actually lined up in the things that I would do in play. And then along that, you know, same line is the thing I noticed, kind of what Maria alluded to with the skills being learned, is I ended up having, I think I had a decent amount of general skills that I should have used better, of like making a wider skill set instead of a deeper one, where I just like kept filling up the ones that I already opened up the first time around, and would have said thrown like one at like persuasion or rhetoric or things. Like just those base ones that you expect, like,
yeah,
you know, I go
and always take the perception skill in D&D.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
you just kind of do.
And the thing is, like, it feels so different in this game because of the like opening the skills and the being learned and stuff, where it's just like,
it's just
I have a slightly
harder.
worse penalty in 5e whatever, like I roll with -1 of what I would have had.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely 100% agree with that. Just like having much wider, because I think all of us kind of were like unaware of how big of a penalty being unlearned in something was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like we got into that first session and like Robin's character sheet had filled up with like 5 being learned skills. It's like, oh, like we got to a session where we're like, oh, we finally rolled something we have. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have one thought where I did this with my local group, and the interesting thing that came out of it was they said your first burning wheel character is a lot like pancakes. Your first one it's to get ready for all the other ones.
That's why they call it the character burner.
Yeah.
Or there's a question for you in chat. Do you see yourself running more Burning Wheel?
I think that I'll answer that question, but I'm also curious, like, for the group's thoughts a little bit. I enjoyed it. I thought that we got to see the core of the game, which I really liked, and everyone was so great to interact and engage with it. Your characters were like, I was honestly in love with all of your characters, and I could have endlessly spent time trying to find ways to show off all the things that you had. In particular, I actually wanted to get Wenzi's fighting abilities in a little bit more, because I went through and like figured out some of the combat stuff just in case. I was like, oh, he's actually really good at fighting things and would probably be able to beat anyone up, especially with that armor there.
Well, yeah, we were sitting there during the character creation. I had like so many skill points that I like the actual ones that came out of Life Path were like could only be put into like sword and stuff, and I was just like,
Yep.
it's like I have like 5 in sword.
Yeah.
Why do I? I don't need to roll 5 dice against all these randos that would come up and.
Yeah.
Where were you with the heckler?
I want it. I want to shake him up against a wall or something, and spook him.
And then the other thing that I thought was there's a lot more to the game that we totally could jump into, like after a big sort of arc like this. Well, we sort of compressed it. You go back into character creation, which I really like, and you have a session where it's like, okay, let's talk about what traits don't make sense, and then you literally vote as a group on getting rid of traits, and then you vote on adding traits, and then you also get to vote on things like new reputations. Dwin would get to maybe vote on new domains, and then you do sort of a time skip where you have a practice log at the bottom of your skill sheet, and you literally just get to practice skills and essentially pick things that you aren't actively getting during the game, but you still want, so you can sort of build your character up a bit more over those periods of time. And as far as like playing the game, I thought that would have been cool to jump into, but it takes time to get there. So there's that. I'm curious to pitch the question back to the rest of you. Did you feel like this is a game that you like want to see the expanded system of, or what are your thoughts? Maria, looks like you're ready for.
Corey.
Yeah.
Corey, can we play this over, please?
Oh.
No, but seriously, like it's the system is all right.
Real
I
talk.
don't like overly complicated video games or systems.
Mm-hmm.
However, this was a weird balance between like super creative and open, much like a Powered by the Apocalypse style game, and also number crunchy, lots of rules, which was weird for me to be like, this is great, but also and I love these characters that we've made, like the concepts of them. We could definitely make them like mechanically better, but as far as like this world that we made together is just so great.
Mm-hmm. I love Castile. Well, I both hate and love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you love it though? Do you
Have you
love it? You
considered
made us
both?
destroy it.
No, but he didn't. No, we did that. I did that.
Think
Twice.
I'm ready to make another character.
Yes.
I think that's where I'm at with Burning Wheel right now. I think that would be the way I would want to approach it. As much as I love Speaker Dwin,
Mm-hmm.
it, like you said, it's one of those things where your first one's your pancake. Like, it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I think that would be where I would approach the system from. Like, and I love this group, and I love the setting, and I love, as much as this book intimidates me, it's got a lot of good content in there. Yeah, I think I would want to make a new character. I think that's where I'm at.
Zach, did you have thoughts about?
Yeah. I would also I think intentionally go in, like you mentioned, where we hit the core stuff pretty well. So like either go in thinking like, what if we like got into the fight modules, like, and that was the like focus you went in with, or even if you wanted to go like the more extreme route, like it kind of suggests that there's like a few like archetypes of stories you get into, where like ours we did intrigue, but like maybe go in and think like, what if we tried to do like a more questing oriented story or something like that,
Yeah.
where you just like really got the whole like way different experience. But yeah, I think like
Mhm.
after like I think this was just about the right amount, like a 4 or 6 the first time around gives you like just enough to figure out what you did wrong.
Yep.
Like it's still
Yep.
fun, but it's just like you go into it and it's just like, oh
Well,
yes, I would be so much better at this the second time.
Yeah, especially with like it being an unintentional intrigue-based game.
It
Mm.
got
I
real
think-
intriguey.
It got very intriguing, and I think it was just the right amount of time for intrigue. And I
Yeah,
feel like if we
yeah.
did more of that, it would be a little bit too much.
Mhm.
Yeah, and anything Arax ask a question, why not choose abilities that result in less complex rolls and play from there? I don't think there are less complex rolls when it comes to Burning Wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the base like roll against an obstacle and like versus tests, but like
But like
anything we didn't
even
even get,
those,
like-
even those are just super super complex. Like we're not. It's a system that is built around complexity, and at
Lots of
least
steps.
when you get into the rolling and the skill use and everything, it's
Yeah.
it's just very much. It's Burning Wheel. It's complex, and that's what it's going to be. There's a reason that there are exactly how many pages in this gosh dang book?
like 500.
600.
There's
600.
Okay, sorry.
600 pages in this book. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
I really like that about that. Like, I'd probably have the exact opposite answer of Maria. Of like, I really like real crunchy systems, and like, on like actually being okay at doing RP, and like this gave me a lot of tools of like, all right, I can see like I have all these systems to build this character, and it gives me like skills and beliefs and things that like most games don't, to like actually say it like, oh, here's actually how you roleplay this character. Like, that was nice for once.
Yeah. One thing that I was thinking forward to, just on the idea of like, oh, this is, you get it out of the way, and now you're like, I'm ready to build a character. Something that I've seen some other streams that I watched, like, get ready for this a bit. One of the things you have to do in your downtime is you have to figure out your taxes and stuff, which is like ridiculous. Essentially, you do a resource roll, and if you don't get anything out of that, you lose. Like, Robin would lose their leaky shack because they can't maintain it
Oh
with.
no.
Yeah.
You can circumvent that by just leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't make you pay taxes if you escape the city.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like
taxes in the wilderness.
exactly.
No
Yeah.
taxes in the wild.
Did we have another question? I've got
What did you enjoy from the intrigue? Again, from anything, Arax?
nice.
The plots.
I think it's something that it wasn't just that it was intrigue, because I've dealt with a lot of intrigue in games. It was that it was so heavily political intrigue and like public intrigue. It wasn't hidden, it wasn't really in the shadows for the most part. It was very much like, it was built on like, okay, these characters clearly have goals, these characters clearly have things they want in the system, like, and in the city it was very much like a very open, very like large, how do I want to say this, a very like open-ended intrigue almost. We all had goals and we were all working against each other. I really like that too. So
Yeah, I think it was interesting that we definitely were not on the same team for 99% of this game. And then the very last, like at the last minute, we're all like, hey guys, but have you considered teammates?
Well, yeah, that was, I think, maybe the fun part is like it gave us a good way to do like, not quite PvP, but like adjacent to that of like, even at the end when we all like got together and sort of did a thing at the same time, it was like we weren't on the same team. Like we all had our
No.
separate goals, and we all realized like, all right, everyone hands in the middle. We're gonna do this one thing, and then everyone goes their separate ways and gets what we want out of this.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's that.
Yep.
So we'll do one more question. Matthews was, did we have a favorite part out of the whole thing? So my favorite part, I'll just give folks a second to think it, is I had hunches about where things might go. And I really enjoyed figuring that out. And some of them, completely didn't happen. The one in particular is I had straw poll ready. I was like, "Yep, let's talk about how we're gonna get some viewers in. They're gonna vote for the leaders."
Ruin your
like-
scheme to get people to watch your show, Corey.
I do
Well,
have a
just-
question though, because she did leave before that was decided. Who did Emma vote for?
Still, she's
This
the only
is
one who
just for
voted.
me.
Yep. Emma wanted to see Robin jump in.
I had Emma and I had Val.
I knew
Therefore I won.
Robin won the vote. I
I was
knew Robin
thinking
was
about
going to
this
win the vote.
ahead of time. Robin, I think, is the chaotic good or neutral good choice.
Yep.
Dwayne is the pure chaos choice because he didn't want to be the leader in the first place. And Wenzi is probably lawful.
The lawful evil.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think Robin would have been the worst leader though, because
Yeah.
Robin's really good at talking.
Well, she would have done
And-
the exact same thing she did.
Yeah, she literally did
Became
the
leader.
exact same thing the first time. She's like, let's just blow it up and start over. Not the
She
best.
blew it up and ran away. Remember when she got lost the first time? Who put her in charge?
That was, yep, you know.
Yeah, so this is just more of the same, but
This is literally history repeating itself differently.
yeah. Favorite moment of the show. I think I really enjoyed choosing the spirit stuff, but also the dreamer. I think that was a great way to like tie things together. I really liked the way Corey kind of directed that and used that mechanic to make it one like a useful and two interesting. So yeah, I thought those were really neat, and it felt like it was really like pulling my character into the not just like the game but also the setting, because without that I think Dwayne was just kind of like putting his nose where it didn't belong, but with these dreams it was kind of like actually useful for him to be around. So
Yeah. I really enjoyed that I got to bring in your lost trait into the dream.
That was really cool. That was.
yeah, that was the only time I had to roll to not stay lost, and that didn't go well for me.
Sweet.
I
Zach,
loved-
oh, go ahead. Yep.
I loved every interaction that Robin and Tenna had, because it was such an interesting relationship. That good old hateful romantic relationship, you know. But they were so, it was so interesting, because they both were very stubborn. Which Tenna was stubborn because she did a stupid oath to a stupid oath rod or whatever.
Yep.
And see, like thinking back to the first conversation that Robin had with Tenna of like you've changed and this has changed you, and like, well, yeah, duh. Now, yes. Yeah, but then also just watching the different ways that the three characters, Robin and Dwayne and Wenzi, kind of approached different situations, and we just did it completely differently. I thought it was super, super interesting.
Zach?
There's a lot of it's like easy to say the like twist at the end of the last one, whereas like everyone was up for election against their will, but like pitting everyone against each other like worked out so wonderfully for this episode. It was like so good, like especially with like Dwayne not really wanting it and Robin wanting it but also not. And like that was made for a lot of really interesting stuff. Like it's the that and blowing up the tower are like the easy ones to say, but like
As one does.
that's why they're the good ones.
Yeah. Sweet.
How about you, Corey?
Yeah, Corey.
Tell us which of us is your favorite.
I think it is probably that at the very last moment y'all teamed up, and I didn't know. I had some ideas. I was like, there's a possibility that no one gets voted in or whatever. Um, yeah, and I think that was the thing that was just so nice to see as far as like characters coming together. And uh, I think in this game you have NPCs who are hateful, forbidden, and you miss rolls on and all that kind of thing. It's so tough to get help from these outside characters that's like, you know what, if you go together with a PC or a player character, you can just be like, yeah, we'll help each other and not have to fail through rolls to agree on this. And it was kind of neat because I think the game maybe pushes that a little bit. So I enjoyed that. Yeah, so the teaming up was, I think,
Yeah,
Okay,
I
great.
think I would like to explore a game where we actually work together for one goddamn once.
well, Voyage to
What a
Ghost Island.
concept.
That was the other hard part. Is like the game encourages you to create very, very complicated and bad relationships with NPCs. So like that's kind of the stuff that makes it. And it would have been interesting to have like, well, actually, I guess I circled somebody into existence that they actually like were agreeable to me. So that was like kind of the interesting counterpoint.
Sweet. So with that, we can do our sign offs for this wonderful finale. I want to say thank you so much. This is the first time I've like GM'd like a bigger thing other than a one shot, and it was so great to do it with this group. So creative, so wonderful. Loved it all. Very very happy with the whole experience, especially considering how freaking nervous I was at the start. Um, my name is Corey Hickson. You can find me on Twitter at the same handle. Tomorrow we've got a finale, but I'll let Maria sort of talk about that a bit since that's sort of the thing that she's running. And Saturdays we usually do Invisible Sun. I think we're on a bit of a break until we get into next season. Otherwise, I'll pass it off to Maria if you want to tell us about yourself.
Hello, I'm Maria, and I can be found on Twitter and other places at Happy Capster. A non-stream related thing to get out of the way first. I and my husband have this thing called Goblin Society Games, also at Society Goblins on Twitter, where he has been working really hard on this giant compendium of magical items homebrewed for 5e, the D&D 5e, and we're releasing those one at a time to the public until we get our book like made. So you can go to goblinsociety.com, goblinsocietygames.com. Either one of those will lead you there, or just go to our Twitter and find us there. Stream related stuff, as Corey mentioned, tomorrow's the finale of Hellbind 7. My first foray into streamed DMing as well, and I 100% can sympathize with the first nerves. They have since, I mean, tomorrow's going to be nerve wracking because it's the finale and it's going to be fantastic regardless of what happens. But it's been a wild ride with that one. I'm really excited to see where it lands, not ends, but where it lands. Besides that, Thursdays I'm playing in Project VHS with Taryn, who's underneath me right now, amongst other people, run by Dan. And then next Sunday, we start something that Taryn can talk about. And next Monday, I'm going to be in Grim Femmes with Miss Emma Hansen, the Void Queen herself, amongst other wonderful femme and femme presenting individuals. We're going to deal with trauma and be real close to each other for a long time. And it's going to be great. And that's all I'm doing, which is a lot.
Sweet. Taryn, do you want to tell us about yourself?
Yeah, I can run this stint. I don't know. I'm very tired, y'all. It was great. I love this so much. But yeah, so sorry, I was looking at chat and he cocked. That was allowed. Sorry. Just very entertaining. Again, hi, I'm Taryn. Find me at Tarzan Nosy on the Twitters, and then around the Variant Rails Discord and whatnot. But yeah, so I'm around for Hellbind 7 tomorrow night, as Med mentioned. A lot of feels with the finale coming up. Thursday, Project VHS. We had our opener last week. Catch the VOD or look. I think it might be on YouTube. But watch it. Very, very good. And then next Sunday, around the time this started, but 30 minutes earlier, so 7 Central. Watch us as we start season 2 of Urban Shadows. Juno Darkness Beckons, which is we're using the Urban Shadow system from Evil Hat or Magpie Games. I don't know why I said Evil Hat. Where it's basically a lot of intrigue and crazy stuff going on. Have one hell of a cast and am very excited to see where things go this season. So, and then that's it.
Cool. Zach, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself, please?
Sure. Hi, I'm Zach. I'm at the Zach Bales on stuff. Catch me nowhere doing nothing for now as I fade into the background. This is all I had.
But
For
it was
now.
Thanks
so
for joining.
good.
Yeah,
For
thanks for
now.
joining for Baby's first stream. It was a fun
It was
time.
so good.
yeah,
now.
this was so intense.
Keywords are for now.
Until
Yep.
or unless the rest of these people bully me into doing more stuff.
Which we will.
Mm,
Definitely
we
will.
will.
Almost, I can tell. I'm weak of will.
Pin you against a locker and hand you dice and say, "Join us."
Oh, no. I'll take my lunch money.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's it. I've got nothing.
Sweet. Cool. Thank you all so much for joining, and have a good night, and we will see everyone around.